sorry about the unprofessionalism. That was like the most randomest cutoff I have ever experienced. Well, not the most, but at least one of the motherfuckers. At least the top three, for sure. Like, motherfucker, cut the game in mid-session. I could have been in a fucking mission. They cut that bitch. And then I looked down my fucking phone. Then I get an email saying, oh, the payment didn't go through. Crazy. What today is? 23rd. I thought it was supposed to be on the 27th. Whatever. I ain't tripping. I'm not tripping. So we're going to be on Fortnite until whenever. Possibly next check, but possibly, most likely is going to be the check after. So, let's get it. I don't like the pipe in crowd noise.
This ain't sing-along with the final boss. Okay? You sit there, you shut your mouth, and you let the final boss sing a song. Who are you on? Final boss sings. Oh, how I'd love to be in that number. Oh, when the saints go marching in. All right, that's good, New Orleans.
Yeah. I was lit.
Who are you on? Final boss sings.
God, I hate that bitch. Look, I started dancing instantly.
Sounded great. I mean, here it is, The Rock singing, along with the largest collection of STD having trailer park trash The Rock has ever seen.
Hey, why they thought that about? They showed a collective, but I was focused on the big girl who had her mouth dropped. Like, she was so mad. She was like, oh, oh shit.
You got me. That was good. That was an amazing duet. You sounded great. I mean, here it is, The Rock singing, along with the largest collection of STD having trailer park trash The Rock has ever seen.
Oh. He pissed people off with that one. He pissed some people off with that one. They felt personally disrespected.
That dropping this WrestleMania news wasn't the only great gift that I was going to bring to you guys here in New Orleans, right? The Rock, the final boss, came here to call somebody out.
Who that? Look, I said, who that?
WrestleMania news wasn't the only great gift that I was going to bring to you guys here in New Orleans, right? The Rock, the Final Boss came here to call somebody out. I'm going to call out a man who I respect, who I admire, who we all admire, and that man is our WWE champion. That man is the one and the only, and this is a privilege, ladies and gentlemen. Come on down, Cody Rhodes.
I think after he came out, I went to the bathroom. I tried to hold it. I wanted to watch that whole segment, but I could not. I don't know if that was that alcoholic drink I had or that was that coke that I had, boy. But that bitch came through, like literally, like maybe like a good 30 minutes after I had just went to the fucking restroom. Crazy. Well, they really know that motherfucking song. All I did was whoa.
I'll tell you something, Joe Tess. Very few people could ever match the kind of energy created by the final boss from the WWE champ, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, is one of that very small contingent, and he's done it here tonight. As the American Nightmare comes out on the heels of the massive news that the final boss just delivered, WrestleMania 42 will be right here in New Orleans, next door at the Superdome. It will be the
They having the time of their fucking life. They touched The Rock and Cody Rhodes, bitch. They gonna be talking about that day for the rest of their fucking life. And they look young as hell. Oh my god. Oh, I'm still there. Okay. Oh yeah, I'll say it right after.
recent history between these two men, although they did appear to be back on good terms at the opening Raw of 2025. Of course, the final boss, the injured forthright, merciless, unrelenting, voracious version of The Rock, who you've already gotten a taste of here on Friday Night SmackDown.
Big ass kid.
That feels good, doesn't it? I mean, that's gotta feel amazing, right? They love you, man.
Yeah.
I love you too.
Crossing the thing, fuck that. You going to the restroom, bitch.
And you know what's
Fuck
crazy
that.
is, I gotta tell you, this is something that a lot of you guys don't know, probably all of you don't know, is that ever since last year, WrestleMania, we've actually become good friends. That's true, we have. So, the last time we were in a ring, or the last time we were on a show together was the was Raw. Netflix, exactly, was the debut. I laid flowers down by your feet. As a matter of fact, I told everybody that you carried this company like an incredible champion that you are. Thank you very much, Cody Rhodes. I said it and I meant it. As a matter of fact, that night in Los Angeles, we went in the back, we drank Terramana tequila for about 2 hours, and we had a good old time. We chopped it up, we had a blast. But I wanted to call you out here for something, Cody, because it's important. And that is this. Here's the thing. You are a great champion. You are a great WWE champion.
But
you know that. We have texted over the months. As a matter of fact, we've become good friends. As a matter of fact, our moms have become good friends. Show the picture of our moms. Mama Rose and Mama Rock. That was after last year's WrestleMania. So it's been a pleasure becoming your friend. But I called you out here. I wanted to see you face to face, eye to eye, because I wanted you to know a few things. Number one is this. You've been a great champion. But Cody, I need you to understand something. Is that yes, The Rock, the final boss, is on the board of TKO. And TKO owns WWE. The Rock is
I think this one I was just coming back.
of TKO.
Oh nope, I'm still gone.
Don't boo that.
Boo, bitch.
That was after last year's WrestleMania. So it's been a pleasure becoming your friend. But I called you out here. I wanted to see you face to face, eye to eye, because I wanted you to know a few things. Number one is this. You've been a great champion. But Cody, I need you to understand something. Is that yes, The Rock, the final boss, is on the board of TKO. And TKO owns WWE. The Rock is a director of the board of TKO. As a matter of fact, don't boo that. The Rock's good friend, consigliere, who you know, Ari Emanuel, who owns everything. As a matter of fact, that joke with him, I said, Ari, can you believe that you own the WWE? He's like, listen, I don't own WWE. Rock, you own WWE. I was like, listen, I don't know
There I go.
if I own WWE, but I do know that I am the most powerful. Cody, you are a great champion. But my friend, I want you to be something that is more than a great champion. I want you to be something that's more than our champion.
Camera right back up. I'm trying to get all the footage.
To be my champion.
I certainly didn't expect you and I to become friends, or the moms to become friends, or the Terramana. I certainly didn't have that on my bingo card, but your champion. I think you above all people know I'm their champion.
Yes, you are their champion, proudly their champion. Of course you are. The Rock is a people's champion, and I love that about you. And this is our universe. WWE is us. We were born into this business. It's in our DNA. But Cody, I'm talking about something much more, much bigger than just this. I know for a fact that your #1 goal is to bring as much joy and love and happiness to everybody around the world, as many people around the world as possible. Is that right? Yes. Because you are that guy. You're that dude, and I know it, and they know it. You communicate through social media, Instagram. How many Instagram followers do you have? You have a lot. You have millions. You have millions. Yes. You have millions. The Rock has 500 million. That's not a flex. What I'm saying is The Rock is the most followed.
That was me. And he turned and talked, and he looked at me type shit. He didn't look at me, but he looked towards my area, you feel me? Like, fuck, I wish you could have heard me.
Yes. Because you are that guy. You're that dude, and I know it, and they know it. You communicate through social media, Instagram. How many Instagram followers do you have? You have a lot. You have millions. You have millions. Yes. You have millions. The Rock has 500 million. It's not a flex. What I'm saying is the...
And then, look, you hear me laugh, though. You hear me laugh, though. You hear me fucking laugh, though. You hear me fucking laugh, though. Stop fucking playing, man. Stop fucking playing, man. Man, stop fucking playing, man. Bruh. 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 Put me on WWE TV and I'm getting your shit lit. I swear. I fucking swear. Triple H. The Rock. HBK. Undertaker. Fuck. Bubba Ray. Dudley. No. Fuck. Shit. Fuck. Stephanie. Steph. No. Fuck. Shit. Can't do that. No. Fuck. Somebody put me on WWE TV, bro. I'm getting your shit lit. I can be one of them fucking prop fans. I could be a prop fan, real talk. Because I know I'm going to get myself on TV some type of way if I don't be on TV the whole time. I got recognized on a YouTube channel. You feel me? The Rock heard my comment and responded to it. You feel me? Like, even the fucking noise, like the crowd noise, this nigga still fucking heard me. Wasn't expecting this nigga to hear me. I was literally talking to dude on side of me. Like, why flex? And this dude just popped up out of nowhere and was like, it's not a flex. I'm like, what the fuck? I was so fucked up. That shit was so crazy to me, bitch, I swear. Oh, bro. That was a fucking moment. I'm not even gonna lie. That was a moment. I didn't really go into depth on that thing, but I kind of mentioned it. But yeah, like, I was literally talking to big dude on side of me. Real talk. Just a random comment, you know. Not even trying to make conversation. Just because over on the other side of me was talking to his son or his nephew or whatever, who the fuck it was. So, like, I was just making a comment to somebody on the side of me. Nigga looked at my ear like, it's not a flex. I'm like, what? Like, it is. What the fuck?
You communicate through social media, Instagram. How many Instagram followers do you have? You have a lot. You have millions. You have millions. Yes. You have millions. The Rock has 500 million. That's not a flex. What I'm saying is The Rock is the most followed American man in the world, and I want that for you. And that's a fact. Rock is here. I want you to be here. That's what I mean by being my champion. Cody Rhodes, if you become my champion, I can open up doors and possibilities for you that you never knew existed.
Hey, dude got up and hit the pose. Dude got up and hit the pose. Like, this nigga got up and said, What?
That engagement dollars you have like millions.
Yo.
You have millions, yes. You have millions. The Rock has $500 million. That's not a flex. What I'm saying is The Rock is the most followed American man in the world, and I want that for you. And that's a fact. Rock is here. I want you to be here. That's what I mean by being my champion. Cody Rhodes, if you become my champion, I can open up doors and possibilities for you that you never knew existed.
Naked ass. Oh, yeah, he was just trying to get on camera.
Every dream you've ever had, I can make come true. Every dream of your wife, every dream of your little baby, who I know. I invited you to the premiere of Moana 2 in Hawaii. Thank you, by the way, for making that cross $1 billion. I love you. Thank you very much. Thank you. You came to that out of support. I met your family. They were amazing. Your baby's dreams. When you and I are no longer here, we're in the clouds walking. I can make all that come true for you.
This nigga got a vein in his fucking head. They're like a stitch mark, my nigga. Like, it makes a U. Like, what the fuck?
I want you to think about something for a second.
That boy got a bald head.
I'm a very lucky man, and I got it all. Man, I know it, you know it, you have it all. We're lucky boys. We're mama's boys, we're girl dads, we're lucky boys. You shut your mouth, I'll come out there and slap the syphilis right off your face. I'm trying to have a moment. Shut your mouth. Cody, listen to me.
Ah, and they pointed to her. And they pointed to her. Oh, wow, disrespectful.
That I want more than anything is a brother. That's what you can be. Last year for WrestleMania, you know this. My goal was to face my cousin Roman Reigns for the WWE title. You know it, and you know it. And when I came back, I talked to Triple H, who's my friend. I talked to Nick Khan, who's my friend. Both of them are your friends. I said, I know it's not in the plan. I know it's supposed to be Cody. Talk to Cody. We're going to have to move him aside because this is best for business. The biggest match ever, The Rock and Roman Reigns. You got to make it happen. And what did you do? You told them that.
Yeah. I thought they was going to let him say it. I thought they was going to let him say it. Because, bro, it tripped me out when he fucking said that shit live. But the fact that he said the other shit earlier, I was like, oh, damn. Fuck it. We lit.
One thing that I have never had, that I want more than anything, is a brother. That's what you can be. Last year for WrestleMania, you know this. My goal was to face my cousin Roman Reigns for the WWE title. You know it, and you know it. And when I came back, I talked to Triple H, who's my friend. I talked to Nick Khan, who's my friend. Both of them are your friends. I said, I know it's not in the plan. I know it's supposed to be Cody. Talk to Cody. We're going to have to move him aside because this is best for business. The biggest match ever, The Rock and Roman Reigns. You got to make it happen. And what did you do? You told them that. I ain't doing it. And you stood up to me. And you know what else you did in front of the world? You slapped me. And no one does that. Gets away with it. But that's why you are special. And that's why you should be my champion. And that's why I will take you from here to here. I will make sure every dream you have comes true. every desire comes true. You and generations behind you. Your dad, my dad, right now, looking down. The American Dream and the Soul Man. They were friends. You and I are friends. Cody, be my champion. And here's the thing. I don't want you to answer me tonight. I want you to think about it. I want you to go home and talk to your wife. I want you to hold that baby of yours. I'm going to go home. I'm going to talk to my wife. I'm going to hold my babies too. And then I want you to think about it. I will meet you in Toronto, Canada at Elimination Chamber on March 1st. You give me your answer then. It's okay. Before I leave, and before I leave New Orleans, this has been an amazing night. This has been a hot-ass crowd. Thank you very much. Before I leave, I want you to know this. The one thing that I want more than anything in this world is that.
This championship, my championship, their championship, this is what all of this is about. You want
No, 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 no. No. My brother. I don't want that. I want your soul. I'll see you in Toronto on March 1st at Elimination Chamber.
Okay, I got a theory. I got a fucking theory. I got a fucking theory. I got a fucking theory. So, there is a big chance that they're gonna let Jay take the title off of Gunther. So, boom. That's gonna be a babyface champion. They don't usually be two babyface champions unless them motherfuckers are really over. But the fact that this nigga Cody been doing the babyface champion for over a year or two, don't you think it's time for him to turn heel, or will it be too soon? Like, I would turn heel after I lose the title. You feel me? Like that, like drive him crazy type shit. You know, like I'll make him turn heel after he loses the title and not during. But I guess that's cliche, and I guess that's something we haven't seen in a good little minute. I wasn't watching wrestling then when they did that shit, but Stone Cold and Vince McMahon, Triple H and Seth Rollins, and I think other people. Fuck, I think Randy Orton was part of it too. Like, I don't know, like it was a thing. So I want to see how that shit gonna go. That's gonna be very interesting. Just theory.
I'll see you in Toronto on March 1st at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, that would have been a perfect way to end the show. Seriously. That would have been a perfect way to end the show. Yeah. Yeah, they lingered on that bitch for too long. That bitch should have shut off soon as old boy was like, yeah, go with. See? Oh, bro. Oh, that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna go to subscriptions real quick, just see what recently dropped. And go to the first thing that I recognize or like already saw already type shit. We released the third episode of What If for Strug Nation. Did I even watch the second? I almost like to watch the second. What was the second one? Agatha, huh? I think it was Agatha. Go to the news right quick. Yeah, it was Agatha. Boop, boop. Bounce, bounce. Hold on right quick, y'all. Hold on right quick, y'all. Hold on right quick.
How's it going? Going well. Where's that big guy gonna be?
He's back. That's the fourth fucking time he's done that.
Is he peeking and probing?
Speaking with serious intent to probe.
Alpha 2, might have guys starting to move on our position.
Copy. We're getting a buildup of activity here, too.
Yeah, I haven't seen weapons at this point.
Yeah, we have definite mission.
Redman 08, proceeding. Proceed activity converging north and south.
Department 6 Romeo, we need evac at our last known position.
We have severely wounded. Who's severely wounded? Mike, is it me? Who is it? No, it's not you. What is it?
Copy. 145. Good. You coming to you or you coming to us?
We'll let you know when we're inbound.
Let's move!
Where's the plan?
ETA 5 minutes over.
Scouts are good.
I put it down, 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 down.
I'm fucked up.
Nothing, 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 nothing.
Alright, we back. Another episode of What If. This is episode number 3 of season 3. This joint is called What If. The Red Guardian stopped the Winter Soldier. Two dope characters. Both gonna be in an upcoming movie that's a day one for me. So seeing them in a different scenario is going to be hype.
New York.
Oh shit.
1991.
Damn.
The night the Winter Soldier came to assassinate Howard Maria Stark.
Ooh.
How could it have gone so differently?
Oh shit.
Mm.
Okay. So did the Red Guardian stop him from assassinating?
No shit. Fuck.
What if
Listen, get some dope music in here while I can't look.
You want me to go undercover as a data input manager in Ohio?
she would have paid that man?
Marsh Radish, I am no fool. I've heard the rumors, whispers in the halls.
Mm-hmm.
General Draco, Winter Soldier. The Winter Soldier! That piece of Hydra trash! I appreciate it, Carlo. He's not even real Russian! Hey.
So they were on the same side.
Putting an application with S.H.I.E.L.D.? The Red Guardian shall demonstrate his value once again.
Once again.
Hey! Hell yeah. Wasn't Tetris created in Russia too?
To leave.
Business or pleasure?
Well, I come for the pleasure of doing business.
See, it's working. Going to the days trying to get a fucking cab. Fuck that shit. I hated it. You call a number, you get overcharged because they started counting the moment they pull up. Oh shit, here we go. He's on that.
No witnesses. No murder. I am the night. I am the wind. I am here to vanish without a trace.
Damn.
My technique.
Damn.
Woo.
Oh. Yeah, what? Why?
That was extra. Yeah, that was fucking extra.
Is that the exit 10? 10? Exit 10. Well, what happened to the 9? Was there a 9? I didn't get a 9.
You have failed your mission, soldier. Your team has been compromised. You're on your own for extraction. Over.
The Red Room forced. They say they care, but do they?
At least he's still alive though.
Listen up. My name is Dr. Bill Foster. I'm the head of the S.H.I.E.L.D. Science Division, which makes me the primary on this investigation. Who was first on the scene?
That would be me, Ranger Morales, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Howard and Maria Stark, concussions, lacerations, but expected to make a full recovery.
Sounded Lawrence Fishburne.
Face them is to face death.
Aha! Foisting capitalist greed onto the working man!
Sir, all I asked was if you wanted fries with that.
Demand the revolution! Seize the means of production!
She's so unbothered.
When do you get to eat?
Vegetarian pork knocker.
So my friends had a rough night. Can we get a couple sixes and 2 Cokes?
Sure. I'll throw in some extra fries.
Hey.
See what happens when you go all revolutionary?
Yeah, actually working together. That's crazy.
That's what I do. The rock.
I don't know why I was sitting here. The watch guy.
Yeah. No, he didn't.
You have helped us. Especially
Look at his face.
I'm gonna keep it right there, but I don't want to hit that bitch again.
That's what I said. It's very rude to correct language. Obviously, they forgot to program any metaphor.
Shut up. Yep. That's ours now.
Jesus Christ.
Take that shit immediately.
You ain't for him to get it back.
Too fast for you.
How can I help you, officer?
Just a routine check-in. Say, where are you fellas headed?
Sisters. Yes, to visit our sister. It's her birthday. Television.
You got her a sweater and a television? Wow, that's very generous. Step out of the vehicle and keep your hands on.
Days. About to pop that motherfucker.
I thought he did pop.
Yep. He dancing with bullets right now.
It's over. Surrender yourself.
The Red Guardian never
Holy shit.
Jesus Christ.
He doesn't need that. Yep. You gotta check up his sleeve too.
Sorry, farmers. Although of all the animals kept by this farmer, it is the worker who is most brutally treated.
Again, with the manifesto? Way worse than me.
Damn.
Nowhere to go, baby. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
Seeing both these motherfuckers in the prom. as fuck. Deli platter. Goddamn. Woo.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Damn.
This is a quality automobile.
Which they don't make anymore. You crashing that motherfucker, you stay alive. You crash now, you in a whole accordion.
I have nowhere else to be tonight.
Y'all motherfuckers crazy.
These two are either the bravest or dumbest men on the planet.
Worse, enhanced, and
Ugh. Goddamn. You watch what the fuck? You're like, goddamn. You surprised to watch you. You know you did something crazy.
Gosh, damn, it's the car.
Besides, I once wrestled Bigfoot with my bare hands. Now it was just a mountain lion.
Still, she might be a keeper.
Right, fight about lies.
Jesus.
Hey, shit, BJ, good argument.
Yeah, even Lawrence Fishburne is top tier with the voice acting.
ah, you're hurt. Why didn't you say something?
The Winter Soldier never complains. Only complies.
Terminator shit. Aww.
You know you're supposed to catch the bullets with your metal arm.
How did you happen?
I come from a family of nobles. Good people, but then I had the chance to become someone.
I can't even remember anything.
Nothing.
Not even my name.
I don't believe that. Look at you. You're a strong man with big brain. Close your eyes.
No.
Close.
No.
Close it. Close.
He kind of resembles Steve Rogers a little bit.
Nice you, Kunio.
See, you are somebody. You are the great Coney Island hero.
Ready to comply.
Hello, what the blick?
This is General Rikov. Mission orders have changed. Your Agent Alexei Shostakov, the Red
What the
Guardian.
fuck? Doesn't surprise me at all.
These lights. Who's paying the electric bills?
So should I be asking? Oh, you're not a room service. What's going on?
Comrade Rook, I am the Red Guardian. This is my compatriot, the Winter Soldier.
Well, what are you? Why are you dressed like this, huh? Is he gonna shoot you out of a cannon later, or you two?
Here for the auction. Spend 8 for that, son.
I ain't found out this is a fake Funko.
No problem.
But why I can't fucking find this bitch? Hold on. We cannot find the product by UPC. Let's try to search it by name. Zero results. Zero results. Crazy.
Two idiots were supposed to kill the Starks. Now, I was supposed to be given a tear-filled eulogy about the fool right now while they scrape his name off Stark Industries, but instead, Howard Stark's sitting eating tapioca in a hospital, and I'm talking to you.
People don't change. Once a piece of shit, always a piece of shit.
Red room work with tickets to sleep.
Any man who thinks money is the root of all evil is obviously splatter.
Right. The Red Room. Dreykov.
Dreykov's a pig. All of them are.
Time to get out of there.
No, we need to go.
That motherfucker made a living betraying the Starks. He needs to die. This gets me so hyped to see Thunderbolts.
I'm gonna just say that I have one of the ones that's on the back. Real talk. Fuck that.
About this man.
He did die. Hey! Look like Kid Blade. Oh my gosh, I wish I was there. Oh yeah. Fuck y'all chasing, listen, I need this money.
What? I'm not getting overtime for this.
Exactly.
I'll be like, fuck that pursuit, bro. Take all this money.
Oh, this guy again?
Get out, Rugby.
I thought we were done with the big guy.
Damn.
I saw the other one on here, did I?
Just a couple.
Yeah.
Defeat the kibbleless giant.
I guess that's the best I can do.
Go to sleep.
We did it.
Fuck. Oh shit.
You split a cell like a mother.
Yeah.
Ready to comply?
You failed your mission, soldier. Jacob warned you what would happen.
Dreykov put out a kill order on me.
Oh, you mean he told you?
Take this and run. I'll buy you time to escape.
No, they betray me. I betray them. The Red Room has enough soldiers. We'll fight together.
Ride or die. Maybe what's that, Goliath? Maybe he can help? Oh shit. You gonna be sitting right here?
So we can force me to shout.
Do that shit on his face.
I am the friend to the great Coney Island hero. Bitch.
Cosa vuoi, Vagon?
Okay, alright. I was worried.
For acceptance, fighting to be somebody. But in the end, the fight is never the point. It's your friendships that change the course of history. Even when they end.
Where is he?
Oh shit.
I told you. He's dead.
I want details. I want to see his body. You're weak, children. Blinded by American excess. Luckily, Coach Bob Toledo's here to thank you.
Like, no, please, no more.
Thank you. But are you here to rest?
No. SHIELD was formed after World War II. A war that Russia helped us win. I wanted to see if you'd help it.
Serious? I couldn't be persuaded to fill out an application.
Oh shit, we wanna see him there?
Shit. Oh my god. Let's see it in real life.
That's fucking sick. That gets me really hyped to see Thunderbolts, man. Thunderbolts is gonna be crazy. Because this is like a precursor to that. Different universe, different timeline, but you still get to see them working together. And we get to see both, I think Lawrence Fishburne's name is Goliath. We get to see him and Red Guardian in their prime, making it do what it do. That shit was crazy. And the Stark survived. That motherfucker still tried to betray everybody. And that's exactly why he got thrown out the fucking window. Fuck that motherfucker. I love this show, man. Because there's nothing that we ain't ever gonna see in live action. So this right here is just.
You are a great diver.
Turn on the chord and that's probably a minor.
Know what I'm doing tonight? I'm pouring chocolate all over my new banana French toast thins. Crispy, fluffy, and just $3.49. What'd you think I was gonna say? Get so much more.
Welcome to Jack in the Box.
So the scene starts, and we immediately get hit with the.
Where's my milk?
Oh my god, Daddy, help!
There you are. I always wanted to kill a black one.
No, please, I'm next!
Not you, idiot. You. Oh, no, he's a blood.
Venom, where'd you go?
You lied to me, Betty. He's a blood. You didn't tell me you were dealing with the Whitehead. I am not built for this. Salutations, original gangsta. We were living.
And that boy Carnage sent Venom immediately into hiding. I don't know what's up with these film studios turning the biggest crash outs I knew as a kid into revenge. Like I'm still not over the fact Hulk was in an NLE Chopper moves mid-combo, bro. I'm sick. And Venom avoiding this fight like Jake Allen and healthy eating. It's really
Oh my
crazy.
God.
He built like a McDouble my whole life. And Eddie over there begging Venom to come out. He's like, please, man, I'll let you eat anybody.
You promise?
Yes, except for the priest. Don't touch him.
Great.
And they get ready to box before Shriek hit that.
Shut up, bitch.
And they get to boxing, and you see this bulldozer of a nigga jumping and leaping through the church. I hear the pastor in the back like, look at him jump for the Lord! It's like a mega house pastor, nigga. This is not what God's about. They jump to hit a clash in midair and look at him. Looking like a codename super thumbnail. It's beautiful. They about to hit a flash in the air, but Carnage done hit a Brittany Renner. Got that nigga trapped in him. And when they land, they hit him right, left, clear off. Hitting the Trent Williams tackle while stabbing his arm. But Venom hits a Pierre knee right to the chin. Got that nigga falling. And then hits him with the EA. Carnage strikes back, but nah. Get over here. Choke into a windmill slam. And then I saw the watch out, watch out, watch out. Like, bro, I know y'all seen that. I was watching this play with some elite blaze. I was in there like an NBA announcer, like, oh, mama, that big llama. I was out there cheesing, bouncing like a Pixar lamp. Shit that out your mouth. And Carnage gets back up like, and
The way I
exactly
hold the brick,
what I wanted
you
to
my
do when I
God and
said
shit,
ice
the brick,
spice
I mean, look.
and shut that hole. And he goes right in there and that nigga got wild. He got this nigga upside down, taste testing the concrete like it's Costco free samples, dog. Get up! Well, Carnage gets up and stabs him in the back and throws him over looking like a cheerleader. Can I get a C and a pinning him to the wall and got Carnage hitting the R&B maneuver. My whole life is changed. Stabbing Venom in the chest repeatedly. And this right here, I'm not gonna lie to you niggas. Carnage was tweaking because he walks up on Venom like,
When this is all over, I'm gonna teach you.
I'm digging you gay. But he over there choking Venom while flexing his jail trauma like he a hood nigga. Always trying to gas up their crimes like,
Yeah, you ain't street. You don't know how it feels to get your booty took.
like, nigga, this ain't a flex. You're a victim. And Venom moving like Drewski at an all-you-can-eat, biting everything in front of him. Kicks that nigga off and while he gets doused under fire. And this is where we get the trope of damn near every action movie nowadays, where we have to deal with random human niggas instead of what we paid for. It's one of the worst tropes of all time. I paid for a Godzilla movie and I'm watching Millie Bobby Brown. Who's the target audience, nigga? Drake? I was really trying to keep it PG. Nigga, we know! But Carnage starts to choke that nigga and the scene's looking straight out of the boys. I don't know why they did my brother like that. But Venom comes from behind and said, give me that, give me that. The bell rings and they tackle right into each other, leaving them in their human form. And bruh, I am not trying to cover this, especially when he got up and said this. Like, if I wanted to see two white dudes off fat fighting, I'd go to a frat. Be serious. But then do a little bit of boxing, and they end up on the floor. And this is where Cletus pulls a move, and I'm not gonna lie, it's kinda tough. Got that man joking through saran wrap like he take a. It was actually sad. Look at his face. Nigga looking like Dexter. No laugh. And Venom says, hit it on off. And this is a scene you wouldn't even peep if I didn't slow it down. He starts dragging him by his own legs. Like, nah, bro, this is sick. Why you looking at me? Look behind you, nigga. But Carnage grabs the bell to choke him, and Venom says, get this. It starts choking him instead. Got that boy spazzing. Like, nah, this can't be the same Carnage I knew as a kid. Venom is dogging him. It's not even close. He starts spazzing trying to get out, and Venom mid-air grabs him by the wings. He starts spinning him around like White Boy Max's lazy eye. Nigga looking everywhere but straight, and hits him with the sword. Yeah, Bowser. But Carnage gets flung back and takes advantage of it now, turning it into an IG flick. I can't even lie, yo, nigga. It's hard. It was so hard, I almost forgot you was getting dogged. This whole fight almost, but buddy, you're not that guy. But Venom runs in, and this is what I call that bullshit, man. This nigga was up 3-1 and gets down after one hit. And then he leaves with his milk queen to kill her on top of the church. It's like the video games when you win the fight and you still lose. Like what Future say, bro, ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way. Well, Venom's on the floor, and I'm just like, Eddie, I'm watching your stream. Why you trying not to laugh, bro? That's disrespectful as shit, bro. Stop laughing, bro. But he breaks out the debris with ease, sees that Carnage done took his shorty, and starts climbing the church. He starts climbing up the church, and I was getting so geeked. I was anticipating we was getting one of the hardest shots of all time, only to get this. Like, bro, I got so mad. Black suit sitting on a cathedral, nigga. Where is the sauce?
Where is the sauce?
Like, this is a shot that could have been hung in the Louvre, nigga. Like, nah, I'm actually getting tight now. No, you know how hard they cooked last time, nigga? Where's the sauce?
Oh, fuck.
It was so hard, I almost forgot you was getting dogged. This whole fight almost, but buddy, you're not that guy. Well, Venom runs in, and this is what I call that bullshit, man. This nigga was up 3-1 and gets down after one hit. And then he leaves with his milk queen to kill her on top of the church. It's like the video games when you win the fight and you still lose. Like what Future say, bro, ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way. Well, Venom's on the floor, and I'm just like, Eddie, I'm watching your stream. Why you trying not to laugh, bro? That's disrespectful as shit, bro. Stop laughing, bro. But he breaks out the debris with ease, sees that Carnage done took his shorty, and starts climbing the church. He starts climbing up the church, and I was getting so geeked. I was anticipating we was getting one of the hardest shots of all time, only to get this. Like, bro, I got so mad. A black suit sitting on a cathedral, nigga. Where is the sauce? We're losing recipes. Like, this is a shot that could have been hung in the Louvre, nigga. Like, nah, I'm actually getting tight now. No, you know how hard they cooked last time, nigga? Where's the sauce? This wasn't even playing. They actually got me mad as hell. Oh my god, bro. But anyways, Carnage about to eat the mail.
What's that? You don't represent me. I can certainly call
And then Meek Mill make that bitch go even harder though. It's funny. It's so funny.
Money alive, only for Venom to straight murk this nigga. And I saw my boy hit this vert in the air, and I was like, a major co-highlight. Someone put a frame on that poster. And as Venom goes to save his girl with the same skin tone as unused toilet paper, Carnage slashes him in the leg, and I'm like,
Is this nigga serious?
before stiff arming that nigga and hitting the.
You said it! You said it!
And Venom's over there lowering his shorty down. And even during a dire circumstance like this, he's still trying to get in those. Like, bro, you can't take niggas anywhere. Even Carnage was getting tight. He was like,
You thought this was sweet, nigga?
started poking holes through this nigga like bubble wrap. I was sick to my stomach. But Venom drops his shorty down slowly while he continuously gets stabbed in the back. But once Carnage is done stabbing him, he tells him it's over. And right when he's about to finish him off, we get... I know you see her right here, though. She's so bad. I ain't get the chance to talk about her the whole movie, but don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
And I know what y'all thinking. In this movie, she look a little crazy. But if you see her on the regular, oh my god. Every time I need to a warship to get my tongue out of her. I brought my phone.
Who's a freaky ass nigga?
But anyways, Venom is the Playboy Guardian. Making her scream, sending them all to the floor. And while Venom gets saved, she gets crushed. I guess LaBelle didn't save her. And Cletus stranded without Carnage, leading Venom to eat that nigga. Pause. Ending the battle.
It is victory.
Hello, monkeys.
I don't know about y'all boys, but it's a great time to be a Dragon Ball fan. We got Dama going crazy and Sparking Zero being the best anime game of all time. Besides the fact that I'm getting, and I cannot do anything. There's nothing I can do. There is nothing I can do. There is nothing I can do. There is nothing. Yeah, watched it. But I was playing my Boo team the other day because we all know Roger Boo is Congolese. In one of my matches, I peeped this. Now, him saying the word mid-game is crazy. Kid Buu is allowed to say it. Goku said, I want you to become a human, and look how black he came out. He is definitely certified. But just hearing that in the game and also peeping this,
We've returned to a future where there is no black.
just had me wondering about all the racism that's in this series. Like we all know, Frieza, cooler.
Super Saiyans, yes, but monkeys are the same.
Zamasu was so racist, he made his own slur for humans. And even someone like Moro be a little questionable. And watching all that brought me to a realization. Bro, everyone in this show racist. Now, Vegeta is a great character. I know a lot of y'all love him, but he's just racist. Like, flat out. He is everything in the book. This man is racist, classist, colorist, ableist. It's insane. This thing is everything but useful. Now, if I was to reread the entire series, there's definitely a lot of stuff I could have grabbed for Vegeta. But I'm mainly here just to talk about the big ones. You gonna see there's a main reason why we call the Namekians black. They're the main ones that get the racial backlash. Now, I just want you to watch this scene and tell me what's wrong with it.
Piccolo has become more powerful than I am, even as a Super Saiyan. But that's impossible. He's nothing more than a mere namek.
Like, first off, not only is this statement extremely racist, listen to what he refers to Piccolo as.
The Namek, the Namek, the Namek.
He really called the Namek with the hard K, brother. You're weird.
With the hard
You trying
K.
to mentally wrap around how racist this is. He isn't saying Namekian. He's saying Namek. He isn't saying African or Asian. He's calling you the continent. Like, bro, you know how insane that is? What? How can he ball like that? He's nothing but a mere Africa. Nigga! Like, bro, people really do not speak on how egregious this is. I would damn near say it's worse than Frieza's monkey. Flat out. At least in Vegeta's case, he can make racism look cool. Dropped one of the hardest lines against 18. He said, I'd rather die alone fighting than to join hands with Earthlings, the Mechians, and Kakarot. Line was so tough, even 17 was clapping. I know what you are. But then again, at the end of the day, it's Vegeta. Ain't nobody worried about him. I heard them one of them little kids might be Broly. And since we on the topic, we might as well talk about Trunks. And I know some of y'all might give him a pass on the android business because they were Hitler in his time. But me, I ain't letting nothing slide. Because you get the racism of Obama and the racism of Vegeta and put them into one person, you know he's gonna be a tweaker.
No way. You're plagued to the earth just like all the other androids. Why would anyone want to help your kind? Your kind? Your kind?
With spewing so much racism, even Vegeta was concerned. And there are some points where it gets real bad. We go to 13 and he is only pressing Goku in this conversation. He wasn't even mentioning Trunks, but Trunks was so bothered by an android speaking, he had to move in front of Goku just to say,
You're just a slave, a pawn with no free will of its own. Is that it?
like you know it's bad when the voice of reason is a white country boy who would probably say nigga himself.
Or segregation, hatred. Is that what you've done with your free will, boy? Don't you lecture me with your $30 haircut. Goku dies.
That's why Android 13 my nigga for real, but what you say, bruh?
Or segregation, segregation, segregation.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. He definitely a segregation advocate.
Sorry, no dragons allowed.
Like, bro, Trunks is so bad. And this doesn't even get me started on the black stuff.
Hold your fire! This man isn't black!
Like, nah, Trunks is Ori. And I know some of y'all gonna be like, oh, he's talking about Goku Black. Okay, nigga, how about this? In Sparking Zero that just came out, Trunks says this.
Goku black? I swear I'll... Huh? You're not black?
Nah, bro, moving on. Now Goku is the GOAT. He been the GOAT. We knew this. But even someone like Goku got his moments. And sadly, it's literally to just Namekians. Exhibit A is when he pulls up to New Namek to get Dende to be a guardian, and he's all like,
Wow, look at all the Piccolos.
a lot of these examples are self-explanatory, but I can really put it in a real-life context for you to really know how bad some of these are. Wow. Look at all the LeBrons. You see how crazy that sound, nigga? And each example is more and more hilarious, but also more egregious. There's a part in the Lord Slug movie where Goku literally goes full Super Saiyan, but the moment he realized he was a Namekian, he broke out of his blinding rage and goes, what? Like my dog talking about some what? Like nigga, what do you mean? Like I want y'all to put into perspective how racist this is. They don't even look alike. But he was so confused he got knocked out of Super Saiyan. Like how do you explain you lost your new form to racial profiling? This nigga is trash. Like again, I'm gonna put it in a real life context. What? And I can keep going about Goku. I can talk about the first time he met Kami and said, and on sight tried to drop this nigga. Like imagine if that punch actually landed. What was your plan? My bad, bro. I thought you was someone else. Nigga. And I could really go on and on. We got Gohan appropriating the culture. Him wearing this fit on Namek is equivalent of a white dude wearing a full kufi in Africa. I know the Namekians was seeing this little Asian boy running around like, yo, who the fuck is this nigga? That's not the end of Gohan taking culture. He tries to pretend to be another race just so we can pull some hugs. Even getting mad at Krillin about it. Like, bro, mixed niggas want to be racially ambiguous so bad. Nigga, I know you. You're Mexican. I could have gave Bulma a whole section. You know how many times she called Goku Monkey Boy in the beginning of the series? And Master Roshi's the whole PDF that be sexually assaulted. But hey, wish he a fan. Is he still a fan? He made the Kamehameha. You said he touched those kids. We also got this scene where Broly straight G-checks the Z-Fighters taking their Everwood pass. Now in Broly 1, what does Broly refer to Goku as? This is common knowledge. But after this part right here where he says this,
If you had just let me kill you all before, you wouldn't be dealing with this pain now. You're a complete and utter waste of Saiyan blood.
what does he call him now?
Wasn't that supposed to be Goku?
He calls him Goku for the rest of the fight. If I was to put this in context, he couldn't even call Goku a real nigga anymore. If I rewatched the entire series, I promise you there would have been so much more for me to add. But sadly, I'm playing Sparking Zero, so I can care less. Y'all can tap into the second channel and the Twitch. I'll be running fades with viewers every week. And that's all I had to say. Bulma, do you want to close it off?
Hey guys, how to it?
The story is very large, very complex. Everything he commits is something very original and surprising. What's it called? There'd be a shock. Everyone was having tons of fun.
Mickey 17.7 rated R.
Try Airless Essential Mist Diffuser. Transform your space. Fragrant mist.
Now the Power Rangers will feel the wrath of Goldar.
Who?
Nah, I'm fine. If the episode is starting with them going up against a C-lister, you know something's up. And y'all know on this channel we be talking about the pull-ups and the theatrics, but nobody got it like this. Now tell me why Goldar hits a two-legged kick to the Megazord the pull-ups in the theatrics, but nobody got it like this. Now tell me why Goldar hits a two-legged kick to the Megazord's chest, and my boy was feeling himself. It decides to hit two aerial spins before he lands it. My dog, who you feeling like? But I can't even blame him. Look at the fit. He pulled up with the
Okay, guys,
effort
did
of a
love. Thank you for the
Jesus.
food, Bob.
Look
And
at
do
the
say thank you
freaking
all for
trip.
delivering, man.
They get to boxing for a total of 2 seconds, and then he's like, this man with no intro and no dialogue. It's this 80-inch vert to get on top of the Megazord. Like, bro, y'all see this bit? It's 300 feet. My brother got buddies. We switch scenes, and this man is already at the door. No way the Megazord's easier to enter than Lana Rhodes. Like, nah, hold on, because this don't even make sense. How did he throw one punch and destroy this entire machine? Like, look at it outside. That boy glitching. It don't even make logical sense. Like, does your punch have thermal, nigga? But this shows the epitome of absurdity. I don't know how they got away with it. But anyways, they all out there falling, dreaming. And Red done flew up that be like, only for Ro to land elegantly and hit one of these. Your ass was this big, Vegeta. My dog runs for the smoke off rip. Pick the weave. Nigga, what's your bitch? Turn around, parry. It's like, nah, this nigga was real life wildin'. Watch how he winded for the pimp. My dog said, I woke up crazy. With the Will Smith finisher, too. Oh, nah. But peep how he does my fellow non-swimmer. Weaves a kick, grabs his leg. He said, big black what? And then indubitably slaps this nigga. Had him hitting a fadeaway dab. Slapped so elegant, he slapped the poverty out of him. And this right here was crazy, because, dog, what in the is this? Have you watching this like, Jordan never did that move? And then locks up Yellow. And he really got blue to his chest like, keep the chain. Nigga, it's falling in case with from L.A. sucks. And Blue Ranger fighting for his life. He's like, dog, help, please. Green Ranger got so much aura on his chest, you think he's Cindy Swede. And I don't even know what his intent is anymore. He's just sleeping on these niggas for real. Martini in his hand and all. And he throws them on the floor like it's Wii Sports. Straight greased them. But Pink and Black pull up for the jump, and nah, she frying me. Pink ain't even about this life. Because look at her. Why is she running and defending? I'm crying. She don't even want to be here. She just want to look like she helping. And Green Ranger turns her to a Michael Bay poster. And he's out here doing them the worst. Look at this jump shot. Nah, what's he doing to LeBron? And throws them all to the side. And this is where Red does the sorry mistake of calling ISO. He said, oh my goodness, I almost left. Hit him so hard, got that nigga hit in a morning stretch. This is sick. Now they run in for smoke, but this is how you know these Rangers only fight for theatrics. Cause dog, like nah, what even was that? These niggas ain't even symmetrical. When we get back to this assault that we call a fight, I don't know, they said the same thing about Quavo. And Red Rangers getting washed. Green with the top. Put your whole ass on. It throws Red to the pack, and I kid you not, they flip the camera angle, and he dead says, bro, 2 episodes in a row, y'all not Goku. If I ain't hearing y'all saying this, hey, it's me, Goku. Is that all you got? And he really packs them all up and styles on them for the finisher. The disrespect is insane. This is an elite piece of shit, but the Power Rangers got whooped. Walked home looking like these. It was crazy. I know they felt like KSI after performing on stage. Did all that only for the stat line of 2 claps of cricket and 87 boos. And 4 of the 5 Rangers were like, F all that, and called them out.
With the new Ultimate Hut Bundle, create your Ultimate Pizza Hut feast. I got meat lovers and double pepperoni. Ron, we got double pep.
Mouth for smoke really skip school and all. It's real sad. They rather jump niggas than educate themselves. Niggas terrible who raised y'all. And you know Green Ranger, any excuse to run a fade, he's like, bet. And he out there running everybody fade. He said, block, block, weave, Taya, block, Taya. Blocks the attack and said, nah, y'all bucket. This attack right here is a type move you see Kevin Gates hit after a show. Straight feet on Shawty's titties. Dan's watching this like, ooh, I needed that. And he packs them both up. He does blue and black bad too. Yes, the hands are E for everyone, even slow niggas. He's straight flexing on them now. Keep the theatrical kick. It's blue into a full 360. Get that guy a map. Sends him off, turns around, block. And he lays that nigga out with this. Esta pelea no es más. Pose. And you thought he was done? Because he real life hits this Negro with a I don't even know how to describe this anymore. He's just making up moves to back these niggas up. I don't even know what they was expecting. Y'all pulled up to fight this nigga without the main character? Y'all lost the moment y'all got out of bed. When have you seen the Z Fighters win without Goku? He did more in 5 episodes than what the cast did in 60. That's tough. And now, the Power Rangers tight as hell. I would say too tight, no Diddy, because they really pulled out the Megazord for a regular nigga. The definition of overkill, this like YouTube banning Pretty Boy Fredo. Nobody even watched the nigga. And they did grow just like this. And once Green Ranger gets back, Goldar says, it immediately spins for his mans. Now this is real nigga-ism. I gotta applaud. No matter how sorry this man is, you are 100% certified. But one thing for certain, this man can absolutely not box. He probably doing the Megazord. He got one hit off, skedaddles. He tries to strike again. Oh, I should try again. Nah, that nigga getting rocked. Rita watching this whole fight like she put in parlays. She's like, oh nah, they fleecing my nigga, tap in. The cameraman pans to, and I know you see her right here though. She's so... Nigga, what the is that? No, you do that to me, nigga, that's my God! But nah, this really the catfish of death. I'm so sick, I thought I was seeing a giant woman. But instead I'm getting Amy Schumer Poom Poom, straight seafood, dog. What? And they really started cooking them bad, down bad, real bad. You suffering. Had Red losing his mind in the cockpit. He was like, alright, Blue, go left! Whoops, you meant right. Do you see me fucking laughing, my nigga? But as you can see, it's already over. But no, this nigga really pulled up just to cement more hatred and ignorance. And it's not like the Power Rangers were winning this fight beforehand either. As we clearly saw, they was getting jumped. So he wasn't pulling up to give the ops a tactical advantage. Nah, he just saw the Power Rangers get jumped and said, I'm with that. And you can tell he was there for fun. He's out there hitting style points on him. You know they moving in the V. Oh my God. But this fight is hilarious. You see Red in the cockpit tweaking and nobody's helping. Oh, sick of this nigga. Let me have the V-twin. I got it. Is this nigga serious? And look how they got the Zora surrounded, bro. I'm actually starting to feel bad. And they do that boy horrible. Straight electrocute him while Green Ranger's having the time of his life. He having so much fun, he hitting team attacks with niggas he don't like just to one-up the Rangers. They moving like the Olympics, got lifelong ops cheesing like they best friends. And if you really didn't think this show was off the rails, this should really show it to you, bro. They really sent the Megazord straight to hell. Keep all that nigga falling, too. Nah, they get him bad, bro. And this leaves the Power Rangers with 3 L's in a row. They on a Kanye album streak. Now, before I go on to the most heinous act this Ranger ever committed, I know some people are gonna mention I skipped some stuff, like the fact that he destroyed Zordon with his bare hands.
Save yourself, old man.
Michael. And I would love to talk about it, but every time I see these scenes, I'm like, nah. Oh, hell nah. What Green Ranger does right here is the epitome of hatred. Because it's not like he lost. It's not like he's doing... Nah, they get him bad, bro. And this leaves the Power Rangers with 3 L's in a row. They on a Kanye album streak. Now, before I go on to the most heinous act this Ranger ever committed, I know some people are gonna mention I skipped some stuff, like the fact that he destroyed Zordon with his bare hands.
Save yourself, old man.
Michael. And I would love to talk about it, but every time I see these scenes, I'm like, nah. Oh, hell nah. What Green Ranger does right here is the epitome of hatred. Because it's not like he lost. It's not like he's doing this out of revenge. No. There's no motive. So after sending the Megazord to who knows where, he's like, damn, you know, I want one of those too. And once he gets his Dragon Sword, he makes them pull up like Godzilla and commits terrorism on their hometown. Nigga, what the fuck did you all this while playing the ocarina in the back? This man started playing a soundtrack for their demise. I'm crying. And just to confirm to you that that fight in the night was just so he could team with anyone to beat on the Power Rangers, once he gets his Dragon Sword, he fades them both again in their own city. Like he ain't even like them niggas when they teamed up at night, he just wanted to hate that bad. Like, nah, you dead got it. This gotta be the greatest hater of all time. We gonna wrap this up, dog, cause ain't no way. Now, I would cover the Dragon Zord fight, but he gets packed up a little too quick. Just know he got hit with the... And once he gets backed up, Red Ranger runs ISO on Green. And this nigga Green is so on site, he frame one attacks this nigga before they even start. Like, yo, this nigga ridiculous, bro. And they actually start running the fade. Peep the block, another fairy flash. Run into a roundhouse weave. Green puts Red in a reversal, but he turns it to a kick. This is incredible hands. They really got it. But Green Ranger lays him out, and Red's like, yeah, nah, I'm done with this nigga. And pulls out the clock. And all you see is Green Ranger hit that. And I'm telling you, that ocarina be busting. He tries to shoot and he says, psych. And just like a shotty at the club, he's denying every shot. And as much as I love this nigga Green Ranger, this got to be the corniest line I've ever heard from this nigga.
And now, Red Ranger, it's time for you to destroy me. I must be victorious for my queen.
Like, dog, don't tell me my goat is a simp. First Thanos, now this. You telling me evil boom boom this far? Well then. Somebody go call her Rita. I know she hiding there. Yeah, I shout madness under there. My fault.
You so freaky ass nigga.
But we get back to it, and this is how you know Green Ranger is beyond saving. He's moving so diabolical, not even the definition of pure evil can watch this fight with a straight face. She said, and Red in the last resort throws the sword at his face, and then flicks his sword, making him lose his powers, finally ending the Green Ranger reign of terror. Yeah, that's right. After 3 battles lost, 600 bodies, their hometown destroyed, Zordon gone, they put Green Ranger to rest. So who really won?
Rah! Hit him with the blick. Rah! Do it like that. Hands on your head, hands on your head.
Greens have always been good. And with the right blend of crunchy, crispy, and creamy, it becomes a mealtime victory. Taylor Farms.
So, Deadpool and Wolverine is out. Normally I would pull a Miles and backboard the footage, but I am not dealing with the mouse. So I'm gonna have to take it back to the first time they boxed. And it starts with Wolverine leading the mutants to freedom. Logan Tubman's in full effect, only to get stopped by Deadpool himself. And nah, I know y'all see this. This man's cosplaying as Sakuna. His tattoos were either done by a 5th grader or he got it off Timu, cause bro, you're not slick. It's like asking for a Tupac tattoo and the dude gives you Anthony Mackie. I robbed you, Dad. He's staring him down, and I know y'all see the Rogues Gallery of Milk right behind Wolverine. He can't sell this. Now, man, a professional taste such as myself, these shorties wouldn't have moved me. But if you put someone like, I don't know, Halle Berry Storm in the back, I'ma hit it. But Wolverine locks in, and you see that boy flexing the claws. It's a sticker. And this scene right here is the equivalent of losing a band for band. Cause tell me why Deadpool just outcursed this nigga in front of the others. And look at him in the back, they all shocked. So, Deadpool and Wolverine is out. Normally I would pull a Miles and backdoor the footage, but I am not dealing with the mouse. So I'ma have to take it back to the first time they boxed. And it starts with Wolverine leading the mutants to freedom. Logan Tubman's in full effect, only to get stopped by Deadpool himself. And nah, I know y'all see this. This man's cosplaying that Safuna. His tattoos were either done by a 5th grader or he got it off Timu, cause bro, you're not slick. It's like asking for a Tupac tattoo and the dude gives you Anthony Mackie. I robbed you, Dad. He's staring him down, and I know y'all see the Rogues Gallery of Milk right behind Wolverine. He can't sell this. Now, man, a professional taste such as myself, these shorties wouldn't have moved me. But if you put someone like, I don't know, Halle Berry Storm in the back, I'ma hit it. But Wolverine locks in, and you see that boy flexing the claws. It's a sticker. And this scene right here is the equivalent of losing a band for band. Cause tell me why Deadpool just outcursed this nigga in front of the others. And look at him in the back, they all shocked. And now Wolverine losing the meat for meat is crazy. You gotta hop in the stew or something. Deadpool can't open his mouth. Someone could get that boy out of my house. They all start running away because you know this band for band shit gets serious. And Deadpool starts walking. And I was watching this and I was like, bro, no way this is Ryan Reynolds, bro. Look! This is not the Mint Mobile nigga. And Deadpool starts applying straight pressure on Wolverine, but he's moving like Bronny the Last Lavender, the way he's shooting that straight air. And Wolverine hits a mean stab, only for it to do nothing.
Stop playing.
And this is where Deadpool started straight cooking and slashing his back, got him like, and dropped his arm to the floor. And after this, Wolverine got the zoomies, hit the dash, ran away. And the moment Deadpool walks outside, this man's on a chemical plant. Like, bro, how? Like, nah, my man got hit with the post-traumatic smoke disorder. He made sure he was long gone. And he really ran up there and had the audacity to taunt Deadpool. I'm crying. This is really the equivalent of online niggas being like, come outside, nigga. Come up then. Yeah, y'all ain't seeing no action. And that taunt ain't mean nothing either, because Deadpool hit that.
He's lost. I can tell.
And Deadpool starts putting in that straight truck. Like, dog, peep how he does it. Laid that boy fresh out like a picnic table, and Deadpool hit that. Giving him the X on his chest like he lucky, got him screaming. He's about to finish him off, only to get slapped. And bro, peep Wolverine. This can't be my gold pal. Get that thing off the road, bro. This nigga think he look behind. Well, Sabretooth picks that boy up, and I'm not gonna lie, bro, I do not like this nigga. And I know all two Sabretooth fans are crying in the comments right now, because apparently every time I don't like a character, they all of a sudden have fans. Like, I seen y'all niggas in my comments up the pole for the Penguin, nigga. Like, bro, y'all be writing statements like these, not even believing yourselves, bro. Y'all are cap. Like, y'all would really be there gassing up anybody like them Latina shorties. Be on they Snapchat like, here with my nigga. Whole time it's Ernesto de la Cruz, bro. Ain't no way. But Sabretooth saves him and they like, oh, it was you. I was at that Biggie party, Sean. Word is bomb. What? But this is when I knew Deadpool was all smoke because he spawned his head in the middle of their combo just to drop him. And that's when Wolverine calls a defensive play of going back to back. And you should know, all real niggas get stronger in close proximity. No pause. We'll zoom. Because Vegeto's the realest nigga in anime, and he's out here being created by two grown men molding their meats. Like, nah, bruh, we got you. And this is where Deadpool just started trolling him. Because my dog hit this majestic theatrical jump just for the flex, and then started cheesing these niggas, switching sides with the kicks like, okay, nigga, I see you. And I feel bad for Wolverine because this is really a 1v1. Sabretooth ain't nothing but a water boy. Look at this nigga. He ain't get a single hit off. Like, bro, this white Kevin Gates moving like he's the Nazis a titty combo. Tee up. But Deadpool's again doing a bad, hitting them with drop kicks to the face. Got my boy hitting the Kaepernick. Black Lives Matter unless it's R. Kelly's. Goes to Sabretooth and flash kicks this nigga. Got him hitting the Neo, sweeps Wolverine, and then axe kicks the shit out of Sabretooth. Like, y'all see this, bro? Even in his trash versions, he's still the GOAT. But Sabretooth chokes him, gets done like a Dragon Ball character, and Wolverine stabs him from behind. And Deadpool knew out of context this shot looked straight out of a Diddy party, so he weaved out the way. And Young Bull started moving like Homelander, immediately sprayed the beams. He sprays it at Wolverine, and he blocks it, got his hands burning. But he deflects it back, got my nigga fluffed. And then Sabretooth starts running in like Kai said that, only to get sapped the fuck down. And then he starts spraying him to Kingdom Come. I swear he was looking like Soldier Boy in that one edit. But that was a mistake because Wolverine comes from behind in this clean wallpaper shot and decapitates Deadpool, ending the battle in his victory. So the scene starts when we got Captain America in the elevator. And I want y'all to listen up, listen closely, and most importantly, listen carefully. Because this whole movie is going to confirm that this man is really Captain America. Because the first thing we see this man do is stare right at a brother. My dog has never seen a non-swimmer in an unsegregated area. I know he's loaded up every square in the pool. They stop at the next floor and 5 more people walk in. And I want you to tell me which one of the 5 this man decides to look at. Nah. I want you to look at this man's face too. I know damn well y'all never seen this nigga this angry. Like this man, Chris Evans, is too invested in the role. He's from Boston. They all became racist once Michael Jordan was dunking straight cookies on the Celtics for 63 straight points. He was made for this. But after all that, we get this iconic line. And then the whole elevator gets the flag on play. You didn't even go 5 minutes without Captain America expressing some form of discrimination. Rewind the tape, bruh. Because look at the room. We all know the primary threat is right here. But look at where his eyes lead before he locks in. He looks to his left, and who's on the left? Negro. He looks to the corner. Who was in the corner? Negro. And after scoping out the Midnights, then he looks like, man, I'm about to leave, bro. This nigga was hard. But they finally get to boxing, but I must be overanalyzing because I do not know how half of this room got knocked out. Like, I don't see nor hear a kick. But these 5 niggas just automatically get down on their knees. They moving like J. Cole, copping the plea just off a nigga's aura. But I don't even blame him, not gonna lie. Captain America was doing civilians like this. I wouldn't want to fight him either. But they were doing him like Tiana Trump 7v1, and this man puts a metal slate on his arm like he Kuvera. And they had Cap's arm in the air, he was trying so hard to put that hoe down. He's not trying to get mistaken as an ally. But once he puts his arm down, he clocks these 2, and then gets to sniffing out the nearest black person he can knock out. Knock him. But his guard kicks this fool, stamps this man's neck at him, has been for and this man gets left hooked into observing a landscape view of the city. But he throws this bulldozer of a nigga off him, and he gets picked right back up into the wall. And this man, Rumlow, is so trash, despite having the advantage in a one-armed ISO, still hits this crazy of a miss. And that nigga hit it to begin with. But he gets tased in the back, and he elbows Rumlow while being min-weaved. And then tosses Lil Bro towards the camera like these. And look at how he does the Black Brethren the worst. Breaks this nigga's wrist, got him singing, and then ricochets him off of glass. This man is really one of them fictional characters you do not want to be black around. But he gets himself off the wall and he starts moving diabolical. throwing regular niggas in the same posture as his shield. Like, why are you always tweaking against regular niggas, gang? Do I have to show y'all Ultron? This nigga will fight you 10 times harder if you don't have powers. And he ends his fight off by smacking Rumlow and throwing him up in the air like a baby. Also, I really like this scene. And this is where Cap continues his quest to take down Hydra. Now, there's so many scenes I can talk about for the Winter Soldier, but I'm gonna start with this one right here. When Cap done kidnapped the dog trying to find me from he ain't even wait for me to finish my sentence. He already squabbling. He starts shooting through the V, and Widow just wanted an excuse to put her boom boom on Steve Rogers' face. I know it's not crazy in there, bro. But they throw him off the car and peep the slide.
That's why he's everything. That's why he's the GOAT.
And then an armored vehicle rams the back of the car, and look at it. Staring him down with straight aura. This is what the MCU's missing. They don't got sauce like this no more. He jumps on the car and straight takes out the wheel. Got him whipping in a Flintstone vehicle. They was cooking him so bad, Cap had to cop the plea and leave the V. Had to claim defeat and leave the Jeep. Had to drop the beat and get in the street. Put the fist up cause niggas disturbing the peace. Stop playing with me, nigga. I'm like that. While I was distracted by that garbage freestyle, Captain America really thought he could get away with more racism because he got all three of them on the shield and he's like, sorry, Sam, whites only. The racism was so bad the cameraman had to look away, and by the time he turned back, this man is crawling like a bowling ball. Do you see what I'm talking about? You really got a Jim Crow American as an Avenger. And after all of that, tell me why I turn around and this nigga got a grenade launcher, bruh? Like, why are niggas just spawning? But he shoots it right at Cap, got that nigga slumped. Giving this nigga more airtime than the Wright brothers. And while Cap is knocked out, the Winter Soldier's farming highlight clips on straight side characters. Like he's spawning into easier lobbies just to look cold. Look at him. But he's out there farming his Twitch clips looking clean as hell with a VZ61 strapped to his back. When it comes to aura, this man is top 2 MCU bar none. Argue with your mums. He's out there hogging Black Widow down and she's out there sprinting for her life. And I'm really feeling for Widow. She got a vital artery struck, got her moving like this. You got niggas all around her either crying or screaming. And then you got Sam on the intercom screaming straight Swahili. Someone come save her. And they get to boxing. I'm talking. Nah. Pause. Rewind it a little bit. Right there. I'ma keep saying it till y'all understand. Every superhero is a symbol. They get 50 plus endurance and boost to all stats to have double D's in a booty with a perfect circumference. They had Cap running like Ron Reed chasing a 4-for-4 as if he wasn't having visions of Kobe scrimmages 2 minutes ago. I'm telling y'all, these niggas different. But we gon' get back to it. But they get to boxing. I'm talking straight hands. They was fighting so clean and aggressive, and this man really had Cap in his 1947 and it is great hardcore. I know after this fight he gonna be talking about some my back. It's so old man. But the Winter Soldier's out here using his entire arsenal. We only see 3, but that's still bigger than Kid Cudi's entire bag of one singular hits. Once Day and Night finishes on stage, that nigga is frozen. But once Cap clocks him with this mean right, he's all like, oh, we throwing hands now. And they actually get to scrapping Afro in the bring it around town. And bop. And once he gets back up, I saw this. I was like, nah, looking this clean with your accessory. This is the equivalent of posting another nigga's chain and you snatched it. I need Steve to spin back. And he goes right in there and damn! Almost knocked that nigga clean off. Spider-Man was in the back taking notes. Y'all gonna see in the vid. And then they really get to the hands. I'm like, yo, that's what I live for, nigga. I'ma go back and give y'all the play-by-play. They was really moving like some elite cooks. And we're getting elite plays from Steve right here. Just parries and deflections. Everything's getting denied. Call it some bad rids. You're just a friend. You're like a brother to me. I don't see you like that. I know some of y'all watching right now just got hit with Korea level flashbacks. Could it be me? And then we got Bucky throwing his utensils like he a chef. Right into the same hand trying to take his face off. He knows his vision is the greatest attribute to his defense. Goes for the low, deflected. Pushes him off, hits a Millie Rock, clocked. Like, this is truly masterclass fisticuffs. I love the game, I love the grind. But sadly, this is where Steve starts to do too much. Because this man got 2 hits just to get his combo off, and then this man ran up his knees. Like, if you don't get your Captain Falcon knee up out of here, nigga, if your opponent is using their knees in any capacity in a fight, there is a 95% chance that they belong in a psych ward. You're fighting a crash out. Because my man did all that, and then Bucky started to get the upper hand, even started to choke him. And look at him. Now that it's you, you don't like how it feels, huh? Oh, man. Chill out about here, boy. He triple punches this nigga into the whip and almost takes this man's face off. And this is when this nigga just started doing anything. Cap hits him with a... Gets back his shield, and this is where the Winter Soldier showed me that he is one of the smartest niggas I ever seen on the field. Peep game. Now he tries to stab Steve from above, but obviously he blocks it. But this was just a ploy for him to drop the knife into his other hand. And while Steve prepares to dodge the knife strike, him even following through with the attack, it was a pump fake the whole time just for the hug. Yeah, see, I can feel it easily. Double pump fake to get a clean right. You don't see plays like this. These some real hands. But Cap flips him over and takes off the mask, and that's when it's revealed that it was Bucky Barnes the whole time. And they would have continued to scrap if Woodrow ain't pull up in the rear trying to take his head off. And then he escapes. He got beaten so bad he actually teamed up with an African. But sadly, Sam don't got a lick of real nigga in him. He the one black friend the white people swear they have. And he gets exposed on all counts. Hell audio, but I actually forgot to put this in the video real quick. Watch this. Cause they walking off the helicarrier and Cap gets snuck straight sneak nation. Sam goes to save his mans and Bucky hit this nigga with the dark side. Yeah, it's over, bro. He's getting done like a Shonen side character. Because he straight beats him to the ground, rips off his wing, got him moving like Sephiroth, one winged angel, and decommissions the Falcon in 4 effing seconds. Like, how is that even possible, bro? You making us all look bad. And then we get to this Metal Gear Solid final fight in the helicarrier, and this bit was so tough. I love how Bucky's one of the only people that can use guns and actually threaten these superheroes. Look at the precision and accuracy with the aim. Straight snuck this nigga with 2 clicks. I like that. And this ain't the only time he creases Cap. He straight breaks his back. No pause. Got him bent. Cap tries to throw the shield back, and he's like, get that beast out of here. And even went in to stab his shoulder blade. I'm telling you, this nigga is him. But it can't be a Captain America fight without some choking. These niggas kinky as hell. And the entire last 30 seconds of this fight is just Cap trying to choke this nigga out. And he is actually successful. Like, congratulations, Cap. Your ratio is now 1 to 57. But that's how it ends. And we don't see the Winter Soldier up until Civil War. And I'ma see y'all then.
Know how to pesticides, high quality ingredients, Stonyfield organic, good on purpose.
Was it everything I said it was going to be?
What's good with y'all? The JJK video went triple platinum, and I appreciate y'all for that. But Death Run Up more manga fights, this is what I got in mind. But it's been too long since I talked about Dragon Ball, so we gotta run this shit up, man. Someone called the DJ, tell him, play my! So the scene starts, and we got the What's good with y'all? The JJK video went triple platinum and I appreciate y'all for that. But Death Run Up or manga fights, this is what I got in mind. But it's been too long since I talked about Dragon Ball, so we gotta run this shit up, man. Someone called the DJ, tell him, play mine! So the scene starts and we got the Galactic Patrol pulling up on Earth. We got the sauciest man alive, Jacko, pulling up, but he does not want to claim his set. He's trying to hide in the back like I can't see him. They tell him to go stand by his gang and we get the full 2-page spread of the Z Fighters posted up. And they got all of them looking clean, from Krillin to Tien, all the way to Mr. himself. I'm like, oh, that's my twin! Moro's gang arrives on Earth and they scatter across the entire planet. Everyone's out there cooking while Goku and Vegeta are off planet. Goku training with mirrors, Vegeta training on Yardrat to surpass both Moro and Goku. And I'd be mad confused. He's still trying to surpass Goku, but last time I checked, he dropped his pride. Toriyama, you remember that, right? They got everybody spazzing out. It's beautiful. Everybody except Goten and Trunks. For some reason, they left these two on the island. And they never pull up after the fact, even though I know they could sense ki. It's like every time you suggest the authors to use these two, they're like, no, baby. But it ain't just Goten and Trunks they don't like. From the words of Toriyama himself,
I don't like any of you.
we get back to the side characters, and I turn the page, and I see Gohan getting done like this. Like, the fight just started. They can't even... That's key. It's like every time you suggest the authors to use these two, they're like, no, baby. But it ain't just Goten and Trunks they don't like. From the words of Toriyama himself,
I don't like any of you.
we get back to the side characters, and I turn the page, and I see Gohan getting done like this. Like, the fight just started. They can't even get a Make-A-Wish ass win. It's actually sad. If you're not Goku and Vegeta, you're trash. But as you know, Super is Goku time too. It is not about them, and he finishes every battle for them. Like, damn, Goku, you can't have shit in this house. But before he goes to the main battle, Krillin's curious if he's worried about Moro. And then Goku's like, nah, I'm really excited. And once I read that line, my parlay was on Moro. I knew he was gonna lose. Goku's I'd win is him getting excited. Because every single time he says this, he gets dropped. Once you hear that, you better get elated, ecstatic even. Because you gonna put this nigga on a t-shirt, straight merchandise. But Goku pulls up on these niggas like a get out of jail free card. My boy Sagambo got hit with the Phantom. And my boy lost as hell. Get that guy a map. He was getting greased so bad, even Moro was distraught. He's like, who's crossing you up, nigga? Danny Phantom, bitch. He throws Sagambo to Moro, and Moro flicks him away, only for Goku to be standing behind him. And they start hitting that Dragon Ball pre-game talk. You got so much stronger. No, you did. You did. But man, y'all some freaky ass niggas. That's the idea of ops, freaky as hell. You waited 3 months to see another grown-ass man? Piercing. But any... Danny Phantom, bitch. He throws Sagambo to Moro, and Moro flicks him away, only for Goku to be standing behind him. And they start hitting that Dragon Ball pre-game talk. You got so much stronger. No, you did. You did. But man, y'all some freaky ass niggas. That's the idea of ops, freaky as hell. You waited 3 months to see another grown-ass man? Piercing. But anywho, but they finally about to square off, only for Sagambo to be like,
Moro, let me get back at this nigga real quick.
man, I already packed you up. Go home, dog. Jacko bring the feds right now.
Hell nah, they ain't saying free me again. Demon already home, pussy.
They get to scrapping. I'm not gonna lie, this was a sick-ass scuffle. But during their battle, Moro's juicing up Sagambo with so much za, it even got Goku concerned. And in one of the brutalest kills of the series, Sagambo overexerts himself and he chokes on his own blood.
Couldn't even handle one hit of the play. I'm sick.
Hey, yo, homie, you a self-ass nigga.
Really? You think someone like me roll with niggas like that? Man, niggas is canceled.
And Goku's like, bet, whips the UI out off rip. He was not playing with him. And this is where Piccolo's like, this battle's gonna decide the fate of the Earth. No, the fate of the entire universe. This nigga really thought I was gonna react shocked. Y'all been having the universe at stake since Vegeta, nigga. I be up on planet Vampa tight as hell because, bro, what did I do? Niggas put in the whole solar system at stake because a 12-year-old killed some niggas. Like, that's not fair! But Goku and Moro get to it. Starting it off with these air bullets, my boy think he's a guru. And just this little air bullet shit got Moro in fear. He starts hitting key blast spam. We just started! And once Goku saw that, he knew if he fought Moro like a street nigga, he was not gonna be able to keep up. And he was completely correct. Like, look at him. Bro can't even keep up with regular UI. I'm sick. And just like the last fraud UI Goku packed up, Moro starts hitting this. And Goku starts weaving that easily. There's no way he thought that 2018 S attack was gonna work. Man, get the weak shit out of here. And Goku started working this nigga for the free ski. He started dicing him at all angles, doing him the worst. And then Moro hits the villain staple. I haven't even reached my full power. And bro expected me to be appalled by this revelation as if I'd never seen Dragon Ball. Of course.
Southern New Hampshire University hace posible lo imposible. Puedes terminar tus estudios a tu ritmo y a un precio accesible.
Desde el momento que apliqué online para SNU, el proceso de admisión fue bastante fácil y me apoyaron muchísimo.
Con más de 200 carreras universitarias para elegir, Southern New Hampshire University tiene un programa en línea para ti. Entonces, ¿qué esperas? El éxito está a tu alcance. Aplica en línea hoy.
Of course you're not, little bro. With that statement, we are now officially 1/4 into the fight. But Goku and Moro real life going hit for hit right now. UI Goku's supposed to be all calm and tranquil, but he said, just started scrapping like a regular nigga. Look at this. I ain't seen my man try this hard in a fight for years. But after a while, Moro puts that man down. And from this point forward, they really lose the plot. The fight opened up like Ruby Rose's legs. It was for everybody. And there's so much that happens, I'm gonna have to speed this whole up. Hey, yo, DJ! You know what time it is? Play me some. Yeah, boy! 17 and 18 charge in the moment Goku is on the floor, and that man is tight. He can't let anyone fight his battles. He's just like Kelsey's old ass.
Put me back in the damn game, Toriyama!
Man, you was just in that bit and you went 0 for 3. You're cut. And I'm not gonna hold y'all. They was moving clean and had me hyped as hell until I remembered what show I was watching. So if it ain't Son Goku, who else are they gonna bring, bruh? Vegeta pulls up, and I remember all 3 Vegeta fans getting beat. Really thought Vegeta was gonna catch a dub. Whole time, the 2 T's were plotting the most diabolical troll. They left the seeds of failure right under your nose, too. They had my man hit the thumb pose and pull up in this 0 for 30 ass fit. Killmonger face ass nigga. This fit ain't caught a dub since the Bush administration. They even put him in the same position as ROF. They are writing this manga trolling. Like, nah. I don't even know if Vegeta has fans. Y'all are literally in the same chair as Adam 22. But Vegeta is so allergic to winning, they might as well be parallel lines. And Moro teleports away. Vegeta chases him down, and he's eating a nigga alive. I'm like, what? Oh! Ew! What the fuck? And then we get this. Now, when this transformation came out, this shit was trash. But I'm not gonna hold y'all. Like some good art, this form grew on me. But this man comes out this whole looking like perfect Cell. And just like Cell before him, what does he do first after a comeback?
Oh, you related to Vegeta? Say this.
Make sure to blink his bloodline off the map. It is so sad. That royal blood ain't done shit since it got here. But once Vegeta goes down, the Z fighters say F the ones, and they get to jumping. They really got Piccolo on the floor in real life trying to grab this nigga like, oh, nah. And then we really got Gohan hitting the galactic donuts like, ooh, he's still there. They doing anything to not invite this nigga. Like I won't pull up and beat his ass. But he clamps Moro. Goku into Kamehameha straight to his face, blowing his entire arm off. And with that, Moro proceeds to do Goku the worst. He starts creeping up to Goku, talking about some, I'm just gonna need that arm. Giving my man a Krillin-sized hole in his chest. And my dog falling to Moro's knees like a bit about to give you top. I'm like, nah, this is my goat. After he does Goku the worst, he's like, ah, yes, Piccolo's regeneration. And it's so sad. Piccolo's regeneration be helping the villains more than it helps himself. This man got knocked out by one Frieza Ki Blast, but ain't no regeneration helping that nigga. But Cell can get his whole top blasted off, jump back up, regenerate, and then has the audacity to be like, of course, just like Piccolo. Is this nigga serious? Just let Piccolo try that, bro. I dare you. Gohan with a rage boost tries to do something, but he forgot he's the beastless, can't fight, no money, no bitches go on. He can't box. Goofy, knocking his teeth out, got him talking like Daffy. He put 17 and 18 down in the coldest way possible too, and all the Z fighters are put to rest. It just leaves Jacko and Moro, and Jacko actually stands 10 toes down. Flicks him right in the face only for someone else to pull up. Mirrors and Moro gets to work, and I gotta play that Erica Badu. This man's handles is as smooth as Paul George. Look at how this nigga is moving. Whipping this man with the stick and all. Let this nigga cook. Moro clamps Mirrors' neck, but he rips it right off. And he's like, just for that, I'm gonna make sure you done for. And with his final breath, rushes at Moro and gets his shit cooked. Breaking all of Moro's diamonds in the process. And Goku, after seeing a real nigga get down like that, it's this. And I'm like, nah, get ready for a banger. This is like a top 3 transformation sequence in the series. Because instead of Goku acting on his rage, he immediately gets calm. And then he starts talking to Jacko. It's a small little convo, but I enjoy it a lot. Then we get the calmest but most serious power-up we've gotten from this man. And then he taps in to UI. Then we get Goku, fresh off the block, posted up against Moro. He got this man in fear, and then he starts walking. And every step this man takes is putting fear in Moro's soul. And all he continues to hear is the steps. And this man starts to get so shook he throws a blast at him, only to get caught like it was nothing. Once you see some shit like this, you know he's about to get to work. This man starts hitting the weaves per usual. Just a flick of this, got that man flying 50 yards down. For 2 straight pages, this man just starts spamming. And Goku, not even giving this man the respect of looking at him in the eyes, starts blocking his shit looking straight. He continues to dodge. Like, these niggas put a panel of him putting his hands behind his back. Like, if that ain't the coldest shit I ain't ever seen, let's go. Oh, real boxing is back, nigga. Goku darts back and Moro starts yapping.
Man, fuck it. Play my theme music. Never have your shit on it.
Hold on. If you gonna play that shit, make sure you add some bass. To make sure the whole planet felt that shit. Sent Moro flying to the floor talking about something. My stomach hurt. No shit, nigga. Look! This man Moro struggling to get up, and he spawns all these lava sprouts out the ground. And he tries to sneak Goku only for him to get chin-checked. But the nigga hitting you with a pose like this, not crazy? Sends that man flying towards the lava. I know his shit was burning. Goku kicks him away for good measure. And once Moro's under the rock, Goku says F the feds. He fight him as an Earthling from here on. Once I saw this panel, I knew we was gonna get some generational shit.
I really hate dying. Always.
Every time you die, humanity moves forward. But this Mickey's special.
Who cares? He's gonna be dead in 10 minutes.
Mickey 17, March 7th, rated R.
Breaks the rock above Moro and he tells him to stand up. Goku gives Moro a senzu bean and he's like, you better go back to Galactic Patrol and never get out again. And I know Moro must have been crying. There's no way this man really thought he was gonna do that. Moro tries to attack Goku only for this man's chest to break his arm. This man's out here screaming in agony, and to make the disrespect worse, Goku gets down to his knees and he says, do you even lift? Like the way I closed the manga with straight tears in my eyes. This is one of the only times DBS has been this raw. It's like having a fire the size of the planet. You just keep pouring gasoline. Oh, go fire and beat. From this point forward, a lot of people have problems with this scene, but not only do I like this scene, I think it has the scenes to be a top 5 Goku moment ever. I did a video on this back when I had low XP. If you want to see it, I'm gonna put it in the description. But long story short, Goku hashing it out with a villain instead of just fighting him is a great idea. However, it's placed in the wrong time. If this arc was placed before the Tournament of Power, not only would it make a lot more sense, it can also organically set up Goku's motivation to start the Tournament of Power. Despite being put in the wrong place, I do like this scene a lot. So we gonna get back to it, but I'm not gonna lie. In these last 2 chapters, a lot happens, but not a lot happens. So I'm gonna just Dragon Ball Kai this whole real quick. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
So Goku asks Moro to go back to jail, but Moro hits him with that fight. It's him that Grip mirrors and absorbs his powers. Goku and Moro get to boxing in this beautiful 2-page spread. When Goku hits that unskippable cutscene, let's fight somewhere empty Superman movie opening day, Moro is the only villain to actually strike at Goku. His dumbass did not get the memo. Get your weak ass on! With Goku punishing him for not getting the memo. Moro's on the floor sick as hell, and he gets so desperate he fuses with the Earth, looking like the Astro World's cover, with the fight against Planet Moro commencing. And before anything goes down, we hear a step aside, Kakarot! Goku hit this angle right here I swore was the GOAT. Trunks! Nah, it's just his weak ass daddy. Got him beefing with the ground like when he first turned Super Saiyan. I'm crying. Goku darts in to finish off Moro, but he does not have enough strength. And even though this whole makes no sense, the writers needed to give the side characters something to do, and they all become Spirit Bomb fodder. And as you can all expect, it does nothing. These niggas are trash. So they had to go call in help from the actual GOAT.
Oh shit, that's me?
Only real black nigga in the show gives just a portion of his energy and it completely saves Goku. And this is when I knew the writers in the booth were just making some shit up. Because this man Goku just randomly appears with the Susanoo. I know the Naruto character is tight as hell. They stay robbing. Well, Goku finishes off Moro and that ends the battle. Only for the end of the battle to T-73 survival. Now surely the next arc won't miss, right?
So man.
Disclaimer. This video contains spoilers for these Phase 3 MCU titles, as well as spoilers for Seasons 3, 4, and 5 of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Time code's in the description if you want to jump around. Alright, we all good? Alright, let's do this. Marvel was full steam ahead with plans for Phase 3, a massive slate of content. Maybe, just maybe, one of these movies, Captain America will save With Phase 2 having come to a close, there was no more time for Empire Strikes Back references. There were to be no more teases for Phase 3, because Phase 3 had begun. News began to emerge around Marvel's upcoming slate in the summer of 2015, starting with cast announcement for Captain America Civil War as the film started shooting. The cast was massive, even bigger than the already massive Age of Ultron, and it didn't even include Thor or Hulk, not to mention the yet-to-be-cast Spider. Disclaimer. This video contains spoilers for these Phase 3 MCU titles, as well as spoilers for Seasons 3, 4, and 5 of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Time code's in the description if you want to jump around. Alright, we all good? Alright, let's do this. Marvel was full steam ahead. Massive slate of content. Maybe, just maybe, one of these movies, Captain America will save the world. All of With Phase 2 having come to a close, there was no more time for Empire Strikes Back references. There were to be no more teases for Phase 3. News began to emerge on Marvel's upcoming slate in the summer of 2015, starting with a cast announcement for Captain America Civil War as the film started shooting. Even bigger than the already massive Age of Ultron, and it didn't even include Thor or Hulk, not to mention the yet-to-be-cast Spider-Man, which Kevin Feige confirmed in a press junket for Age of Ultron. The MCU Asa Butterfield would be taking on a new version of the Wallcrawler, but that never got finalized. In fact, finalizing the deal took quite some time. Some reported that there were conflicting decisions among Marvel and Sony, but eventually common ground was found as it was announced that Tom Holland would be the third iteration of Peter Parker on the big screen. He would not only debut in Civil War, but would also have his own solo film in 2017, which was also announced to be directed by John Watts. At the same time, James Gunn confirmed that the title for Guardians of the Galaxy 2 would be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Just adding a little flair here that ties it back to the awesome Volume 1 and 2 soundtracks. Nice. But all of this decided to sit out. Given that Ant-Man was kind of Marvel's event for July, it made sense. But Carter and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. both teasing their next seasons as much as they could, but maybe but there were some fun moments, particularly when an audience member made their presence known.
Can we eject those people? There's space security.
While Marvel Studios made no substantial impact at Comic-Con, they did turn up a month later for Disney's Expo to show off some stuff. They started with Doctor Strange, and while the film wouldn't start shooting until November, they did show off some concept art of the ideas of the movies after. But the real showstopper was Civil War, where a bunch of footage was shown off, all of which was exclusive to D23. And they brought the house down, and it didn't even show any Spider-Man. But even after D23 had concluded, Marvel was still full steam ahead to there was no official confirmation that news on which side what the massive clash might end up looking like. Ironically enough, with Marvel building the internal Civil War was ongoing. The budget of Civil War, CEO Ike Perlmutter and the creative committee wanted to scale request the story be changed to remove Robert Downey Jr. This didn't sit well with Kevin Feige, who almost left Marvel Studios until suddenly a massive shakeup happened. At the behest of Disney CEO Bob Iger, Kevin Feige did not work directly to Disney. All of a sudden, the sources of a lot of turmoil at Marvel Studios, Ike Perlmutter and the Marvel Creative Committee, were gone. These two forces were instrumental to some of Marvel's most controversial decisions, recasting Rhodey in Iron Man 2, famously underpaying some of their actors, especially in contrast to how much money Robert Downey Jr. but also behind-the-scenes troubles on some of their movies, the exit of Edgar Wright, the behind-the-scenes drama on Age of Ultron, as well as stonewalling any potential female or black-led superhero movies. All could be traced back to Perlmutter and the creative committee. Reflecting the diversity from the comics better, decisions can be made faster with a direct line of communication from Marvel to Disney. Although it also meant a pretty severe shift on Marvel television. While Perlmutter influence would still be felt on TV. Before, the shows were loosely connected to the movies at best, but now, despite the shows saying that they're in the same universe, Marvel Studios could completely ignore them in service of its larger goals, no matter how good they were. But Marvel TV still trucked along, beginning the third season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the fall of 2015. The show had really come into its own by this point, and even though it still referenced the larger MCU, it was no longer in the shadow of its much larger cinematic cousins. The show had its own characters and storylines that were interesting themselves, as well as exploring a little bit of the MCU's history, specifically the history of Hydra, before the rest of it. And the show was still setting canceled? Well, damn. The news of the possibility with Marvel announcing an Ant-Man sequel aptly titled Ant-Man and the Wasp for July 2018, the date previously held by Black Panther, which had subsequently moved a few months earlier to February 2018 during Black History Month. It also moved Captain Marvel back from November 2018 to March 2019, just before Infinity War Part 2. But Inhumans? Nowhere to be found on the schedule. It seemed that after the change of hierarchy in Marvel Studios, Inhumans was no longer a priority. It seemed largely designed by Ike Perlmutter and the creative committee as a direct competitor to the X-Men owned by Fox. Now with Perlmutter and the creative committee out of the picture, maybe it was time for the Inhumans to get the boot. At the very least, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. still included them as a pivotal element of its third season as it trucked pretty effectively through the remainder of 2050. In fact, the show was at its best beginning. The pacing was immaculate. The which is highlighted in one of the series' best episodes, titled 4,722 Hours. It's an episode that's a complete departure from anything the show's done before. It's taking a massive risk, and it paid off for a really emotionally powerful story. Reviews for the show were now highlighting this as possibly the show's finest hour yet, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. continued to deliver quality TV all through the remainder of the year. But before the year came to a close, Marvel was still dropping bombs for its feature films. With their Phase 3 slate underway, searches for directors and stars for their upcoming projects were in full force. With Chiwetel Ejiofor, Mads Mikkelsen, Rachel McAdams, and Tilda Swinton joining Benedict Cumberbatch and Doctor Strange, Canada and shooting left and right. In another corner, reports said that Taika Waititi was taking on directing duties for Thor Ragnarok. A truly unexpected yet incredibly interesting choice, as well as confirmation that Hulk would make an appearance in Thor's third outing. It's pretty cool. As for the ultimate team-up event known as Infinity War, no details on the plot were known, nor do they exist yet, but budget predictions put both films on track to cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 billion, which is an absolutely obscene amount of money. They better pull up all the stuff that both cost that much. Meanwhile, the director search for Black Panther was being narrowed down, with Creed director Ryan Coogler being approached to take on the job. However, the Black Panther film wouldn't be the first time T'Challa would appear. The other players, with the main addition being Iron Man. It looked like a sort of what would lead to the massive scale battles between our heroes. Hell, it even looks like Rhodey might be dead here, which is kind of a weird thing to put in the trailer, but it does lead to this big final moment.
Pain hits fast, so get relief fast. Tylenol Rapid Release Gels.
Booking.com has all kinds of stakes. For those who love family resorts, and for those who do not. There we go. Find exactly what you're booking for. Booking.com, booking.heal.
Sometimes, with cushionsource.com, you can transform any space into a relaxing retreat.
Shakespeare in the Park, a bunch of stuff from Age of Ultron, but this was real. These characters were really fighting this time, and I looked as exciting as it did horrifying. But the trailer got people really excited, and it still didn't reveal any Spider-Man, which it's probably good to keep him under wraps. At least for now. But it did show off some flames, and while it was in quick glimpses, he looked pretty good. The trailer soared online, breaking Marvel records, 61 million global views in its first 24 hours. far surpassing Age of Ultron's 34 million views. But the started screamed before Force Awakens, shattered the opening weekend record for a massive $247 million haul. And because Civil War trailers played before that movie, more eyes were on this film than any other. Hell, with all the hype surrounding Star Wars, even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got in on the fun a little bit.
Robbie Dance. Tatooine.
Marvel hit the ground running over New Year's, releasing the first official images of Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange, casting Kate Blanchett in Thor Ragnarok, confirming Ryan Coogler as the director for Black Panther, and also suggesting that Avengers Infinity War could center on 67 different characters, which is kind of insane. On top of all of that, Marvel TV began airing the second season of Agent Carter on ABC. Agent Carter and Jarvis are still the highlights of the show's second season, and while some of the umbrella during the show's initial address, the second season is still largely okay. It's slightly longer than the episode run season 2 drags a bit more than season 1. The story doesn't have as much momentum to it, which is highlighted in an episode where Carter assembles a ragtag team to accomplish a high-stakes mission. But it doesn't really feel high stakes because it's constantly undercutting the stakes with too much humor. On top of that, there's a bit of a sharp detour from the larger story for the rest of the season. Audiences seem to take note of some of these issues, and while some were excited about the show, the ratings were dropping much lower than anticipated, leaving some Marvel made their second season beginning with a brand new 30-second highlighting the lineup shots keeping in the dark as long as possible. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, announced with this image, as well as official confirmation of some of the new additions to the cast, including Elizabeth Debicki, as the weeks progressed and tidbits continue funneling from Marvel's future endeavors, Civil War consistently made its way into the center of conversations. Marvel released a series of character posters highlighting each member of the opposing side in this conflict, then releasing this final poster with every player facing each other down. However, all of that was simply background noise because it all led to a massive trailer and launch intense, showcasing more action, excitement, further selling the divide between the heroes, as well as showcasing the ultimate clash between Iron Man and Captain America. It even teased a little more of Rhodey's potential death, which still feels weird that that's in the trailer, but hey, at least we had a nice callback to the first Avenger.
I can do this all day.
Sit down. Fine, don't worry.
I can do this all day.
And finally, it shows up in a massive wide shot of all of the characters clashing on the tarmac. Oh boy, this looks cool. Oh, but it looks like we have a little bit more at the end here. Hold on.
Alright. On the roof!
Hey everyone. What? Spider-Man, yeah! I mean, I'm a little disappointed I didn't see this reveal in the theater first, but at the same time, it's Spider-Man, dude. Are you kidding? Naturally, everyone on the internet was pretty calm and collected when it came to this reveal. No, they weren't. Are you kidding? People went nuts. In fact, the second trailer for Civil War nearly reached 100 million views within its first 24 hours, far surpassing Marvel's previous records. Meanwhile, in Marvel's other
You'll get your ass whooped though. You'll get your ass whooped though. Don't try to flex, bitch.
Spirit of charity, and I'm giving it all up. I'm revealing who Star-Lord's father is.
No, wait, you can't.
You don't understand what a spoiler is. I keep telling you this.
I do know what a spoiler is. I had one on my Honda CRX in high school.
Okay, maybe there were no story details, but it was a fun video. At the same time, production had wrapped on Phase 3's second entry, Doctor Strange, which led to the April 2016 debut of its teaser trailer. In a brisk 2 minutes, the trailer not only highlighted elements of Doctor Strange's origin, but also bridged the gap between good old regular MCU and the weird psychedelic imagery the film was going to show off. I mean, buildings are turned upside down, things are mirrored, astral projection is on display, it all looked really cool, and yet it was just a taste of the whole movie. The Doctor Strange trailer also got a viewership boost as press for Captain America Civil War was heating up in the lead-up to its release. Not only was Civil War receiving rave reviews across the board, but the directors Joe Anthony Russo, alongside screenwriters Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, discussed their next endeavor, the two-part Infinity War event. They revealed that a lot of time was going to be dedicated to Thanos, who up until now hasn't gotten much to do other than sit around. They also revealed that the two halves would be independent movies, which led to the director stating that they would likely change the titles of the two films. Deeming the Part 1, Part 2 monikers misleading, instead the two movies would have titles that more highlighted their differences rather than similarities. What those titles would be, that was unknown. A title that was known, however, was the Sony-Marvel joint Spider-Man venture. No, it wasn't going to be called Spectacular Spider-Man, which would spiritually follow the Amazing Spider-Man movie's title conventions. Instead, it was going to be called Spider-Man Homecoming. It held a double meaning. Not only would it refer to the high school nature of the story, but also the fact that it is a homecoming for Spider-Man, as in he's back home with Marvel, which is fun. Over the coming weeks, casting got underway, adding names like Zendaya and Tony Revolori, as well as Michael Keaton rumored to take on the villain. And in cementing this new film as firmly part of the MCU, Robert Downey Jr. would join, reprising the role of Tony Stark. News of Spider-Man's first solo venture got people excited, but how is this new version of Spider-Man going to turn out anyway? How good will Tom Holland be in the role? Well, those questions were answered in the nick of time because May 6, 2016 arrived, bringing the release of the 13th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This movie is pretty infamous for its use of big location headers. I mean, they cover almost the entire screen. It's almost excessive, but it does lead to perhaps one of the best moments in the movie, which might not be what you expect. You see, about an hour and 20 minutes in, Tony and Natasha are on the backfoot. They're low on staff and need to complete a mission, so they decide that they need to call in some backup.
I have an idea.
Me too. Where's yours?
Downstairs. Where's yours?
Anyone familiar with Marvel will know that Queens is the home of our favorite web-slinger, Peter Parker, whose introduction in this movie is fantastic. I mean, it's a 3-minute scene, and yet it lets us know everything we need to know about this guy. We get hints to his origin, which we don't need to be explicitly told because we know it by heart at this point. He shows off his heightened senses, his heightened reflexes, we get an understanding of his moral compass, and Tom Holland is fantastic in the role. He's bringing the best aspects of the previous versions, all while including his own unique personal touch to give us the best big screen version of the character yet. And also the scene is really funny.
I'm gonna sit here so you move the leg.
But Peter's only a small cog in this otherwise massive machine. You see, this time around, after a mission goes wrong at the start of the movie, the government decides to crack down on the Avengers, introducing the Sokovia Accords. These accords state that the Avengers would now answer to a United Nations panel that would decide when or if they'd spring into action. This immediately creates a divide among the team. On one side is Steve Rogers saying, no, we shouldn't have people deciding for us. We're not perfect, but we're still the best people equipped to save the world. On the other side is Tony Stark, who's like, remember that one time when I built a robot that nearly killed us all? If we had oversight, maybe that wouldn't happen. As the movie goes along, the divide between the two only gets wider and wider, and each character gets more reason for taking their respective side. Eventually, Bucky Barnes becomes an integral part to Steve Rogers' story. He wants to bring Bucky in peacefully, but the official orders are to take him out, so Steve has to go outside the law to protect his friend. On top of that, Steve Rogers is going through some hardships, with Peggy Carter, the love of his life from the 40s, dying in this movie early on. Tony Stark's also having a rough go. This movie goes a long way to make him the most human he's ever been. He's racked with guilt because of Ultron and Sokovia, but not only that, he's dealing with a lot of pain. He's reminiscing about his dead parents, which seems like it had hurt a lot. That's only the tip of the iceberg because Pepper Potts has left him. So he's thinking the Accords might bring him back to solid ground. He's not thinking straight. As the conflict grows, each side gathers their own team of Avengers, leading to a roster of characters bigger than any Marvel movie before, bigger than Age of Ultron. Yet despite that, this movie runs a lot smoother than Age of Ultron, especially when it comes to setting up future movies. I mean, the whole Vibranium Ulysses Claw thing in the last one kind of felt like a tacked-on teaser for Black Panther. Well, this time we at least get T'Challa, and he plays a pivotal role in this story. After his father dies, he's on a personal quest that motivates a lot of the story going forward. And when he dons the Black Panther suit, all bets are off, and it leads to one of the best action scenes in the movie. It's a massive, sprawling set piece that starts in a stairwell, moves to a rooftop, transitions to a foot chase that then becomes a car chase. It's fast, energetic, and exciting. The Russo brothers feel even more confident in the action this time around, really bringing things up a couple notches from Winter Soldier. Although it starts off a bit rough, there's probably too much shaky cam stuff early on, but it smooths over as the movie goes along. And it all leads towards the massive centerpiece of the movie, the airport. This is where pretty much every hero we've met so far comes together, barring Thor and Hulk, because they're going to go off and do a Ragnarok thing or whatever. But it brings all of these characters together for a massive clash. And seeing all of these characters fight each other and highlighting all of their distinct power sets is just a joy to behold. You already have characters we're familiar with like Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, Hawkeye, Falcon, Vision. But then you add Black Panther and Spider-Man to the mix and things liven up even more. And also Spider-Man is just a ton of fun.
You have a metal arm? That is awesome, dude!
But easily the biggest highlight is ironically Ant-Man. Adding his shrinking powers to the action just creates a lot of great moments. I mean, he's riding Hawkeye's arrow, he's sneaking his way into Iron Man's suit, but the best moment with him has to be this. Giant Man, holy cow, that's cool. And I'm now realizing that this entire scene feels totally disconnected from the rest of the movie. It's not jarring, but it does have a distinct feel compared to the relatively dark and mature nature of the rest of the movie. Also, could they not find a more visually vibrant location than an airport? I mean, gray tarmac, gray buildings, gray clouds, it's all gray. I know it's the same visual language used for Winter Soldier, but I thought it worked better there considering the tone that movie was going for. Here, with all of these colorful characters fighting, the gray look almost does a disservice to that idea. But as the scene winds down, we return to the more dark and mature stuff the rest of the movie has made us accustomed to because we see the moment from the trailers where War Machine gets shot out of the sky. It's an incredibly tense moment. Iron Man and Falcon are racing down as he careens towards the ground and... Is he alive? Is he dead? Somebody tell me.
Revitals.
Heartbeat detected. Emergency medical is on its way.
He's alive. Okay, at least the trailer didn't spoil his death, but it also feels a bit cheap. I mean, the dude's paralyzed, that's real, but it does kind of feel like we're sidestepping consequences a bit here. Now, you might be asking, who's the villain in this movie? Well, it would seem at face value that this movie solves Marvel's villain problem by not having a villain. But this movie does have a villain with Zemo, who's a far more subdued and subtle villain, which makes him stand out a bit. He's a man in pain. He suffered a tremendous amount of loss from Sokovia, and now he's crafted an intricate plan to destroy the Avengers. This plan is a bit convoluted and does rely on a bit too much luck. I mean, he frames Bucky to flush him out of hiding, to interrogate him, to discover the location of the Soviet base, to uncover information regarding a mission from 1991 that we saw at the beginning of the movie. It is a bit much, but that's all just details. What's he really after? Well, on that fateful mission in 1991 where Bucky, or the Winter Soldier, crashed a car, he stole these 5 packs of Super Soldier Serum, which led to the creation of 5 more Winter Soldiers. 5 more Super Soldiers. So now Cap and Bucky, with the help of Iron Man, have to team up and stop the Super Soldiers. And I know what you're thinking. That sounds kind of lame. I mean, didn't Batman v Superman just do this? You have the fight that everyone's wanted to see, then the heroes team up in the 3rd act to stop the boring villain? Are we really gonna do this again? No, apparently. Because Zemo killed the Super Soldiers, so what exactly does he want? Well, all he wanted was the videotape of the car crash, which, as it turns out, has more significance to Tony Stark than we realized, because the people in the car are his parents on the night they died, and they were killed by none other than Bucky Barnes. Tony starts to get filled with emotions, but he reaches his breaking point when it turns out Cap knew the whole time and didn't tell him. Tony goes ballistic. He's on a quest for vengeance leading to this massive clash between the three characters. It's an emotionally charged battle that once again imbues Tony with even more humanity.
This isn't gonna change what happened. I don't care. He killed my mom.
This fight is brutal too. I mean, every punch, kick, repulsor blast, shield throw, you feel all of it. Hell, even Bucky gets his arm blown off. Wait, I thought we were done with Empire Strikes Back references. That was a Phase 2 thing and we're in Phase 3. Ah, well, add it to the pile. Can't hurt. But the scene ends with Cap neutralizing Tony's suit as they both lay defeated. I mean, Captain America is the victor, but there are no winners here. You don't win a fight like this.
Shit was blonde.
Looking for a treatment option that's right for you? Ask your healthcare provider for more information and visit Entivio.com. With Entivio, you may be able to pay as little as $5 per dose. Entivio.
3 epic series, 1 legendary night. LFG. Rivals. Greatest moments. WWE Superstar Sunday. Watch now. Only on A&E. Watch next day on the A&E app. Choose Karma to save big.
At Domino's, get the pizza you've always wanted but never dared to get, with any crust and any toppings for $9.99.
Listen to your heart. Listen to me.
You don't deserve it. My father made that shield.
As Steve leaves the shield behind, Tony is left all alone as we head into our resolution. Zemo's been captured, the Avengers have been divided, Tony returns to the compound to help Rhodey on his recovery, then he gets a package delivered by none other than Stan Lee, but inside the package is a phone and message from Steve Rogers basically saying, hey, you know those consequences we just set up? Yeah, those aren't gonna last forever. I mean, I know franchise obligations, they gotta get back together for the Infinity War 2-parter, but it feels like a bit of a cheat considering how good that climax was. But now, Steve is on the run, alongside all the other members of his team as the movie comes to an end. So now it's time for end credit scenes. First, we get Bucky deciding to go back under ice so that the Hydra programming in his brain can get removed. And as it turns out, the place he's being held is none other than Wakanda. Ooh, setting up the Black Panther movie. Sounds pretty cool. Then, finally, we see Peter Parker fiddling with his web shooters a bit, and it turns out they're a bit more high-tech than he's used to, setting up an interesting solo adventure. And look at that. Spider-Man will return. That's fun. Civil War killed at the box office. It didn't quite reach the heights of an Avengers movie, but it got damn near close, cracking a massive $179 million opening weekend. With positive reviews and good word of mouth, the film was likely to have some strong legs heading into the rest of the month. Now, on the TV side, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had its biggest impact come from the previous Cap movie, The Winter Soldier. So how does the Civil War influence stack up? Well, there are references to the fact that the Accords exist, as well as nods to Peggy Carter's death and Steve Rogers' disappearance, but for the most part, the show kinda goes along like nothing really happened. The second half of Season 3 continues the Inhuman story, as well as furthering the Hydra story, but both are getting a little stale by this point. The season is stretching the ideas a bit thin this time around. That's not to say it's bad, there are a lot of solid moments and good episodes, and the season comes to a pretty effective conclusion, but it's in need of a jolt of energy to bring things back to their A-game. Thankfully, there would be a chance for the show to get that needed jolt as ABC renewed it for a 4th season. However, in that same breath, they also didn't move forward with the Marvel's Most Wanted spinoff, and in a move that hurt plenty of fans, they canceled Agent Carter. The TV side of things just got a lot smaller, and even on the movie side of things there were some shakeups. It seems even the movies are tired of the Inhumans. After rumors spread in 2015 of that movie possibly being canceled, that news was made at least somewhat official, with the film being pulled from Marvel's upcoming slate. The news came with confirmation that it was an Ike Perlmutter idea in the first place, and Kevin Feige only agreed to make it if he could also make a Captain Marvel movie. Now, Feige's in charge, and humans can take a back seat, with it looking like they'll instead make their debut on a TV show that can more closely tie in with what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has set up. But it wasn't all bad news. In fact, after the immense success of Civil War, the MCU had now crossed $10 billion in worldwide ticket sales since its inception in 2008. That's a lot of money. But with Marvel's continuing success and Phase 3 officially underway, people were getting excited for the future, starting with a casting announcement for Thor Ragnarok. It confirmed that Mark Ruffalo would join as Bruce Banner, and Cate Blanchett would join as the villain Hela, while also adding Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster, Carl Urban as Scourge, and Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie. There were some notable absences, though, particularly all of the human side characters from the first two movies, including Jane Foster, which, considering Natalie Portman wasn't thrilled to come back for Thor 2, it isn't surprising she decided to skip Thor 3. But there was also the peculiar absence of Lady Sif, probably because of Jamie Alexander's prior commitment to the TV show Blind Spot. It wasn't much longer after that production on Thor Ragnarok began in Australia. At the same time, production on Guardians Volume 2 had wrapped, with Spider-Man Homecoming getting started immediately after, having added tons of actors in supporting roles. All led to Comic-Con, where, after a year off, people were anxious to see what kind of show Marvel was going to put on. And oh boy, did they have a ton to reveal. The panel kicked off with Marvel unveiling a massive 37-second new logo. I mean, 37 seconds might be a bit excessive, but when your franchise has made $10 billion and counting, I think you can get away with something like that. Then out came the Doctor Strange cast and director, who unveiled an exclusive clip for Comic-Con, but also released a second trailer for everyone worldwide. And this trailer is pretty exciting, showcasing more of the magic, psychedelic imagery, teasing more elements of the story, and also some humor.
What's this, my mantra? It's the Wi-Fi password. We're not savages.
After that, Marvel brought out Black Panther director Ryan Coogler, joined not just by Chadwick Boseman, but by the all-star principal cast alongside him, including Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, and Denai Guerrera. They didn't have any footage to show, considering the movie wasn't shooting for another few months, but they did unveil a brand new logo and got people pretty excited for what promised to be a massive introduction to Wakanda. Next up, Tom Holland and director John Watts came out with exclusive footage for Spider-Man Homecoming, which, despite the movie only having just started filming, the footage managed to be a highlight of the night. Allegedly, I never saw it. But what was released publicly was this piece of concept art that looks pretty great, also confirming that the villain played by Michael Keaton was the Vulture. The rest of the cast also came out to say hi before they had to rush back out to continue filming. Another 2017 Marvel movie, Thor Ragnarok, was also filming, which meant the cast couldn't make an appearance at Comic-Con. But they did unveil this brand new logo, which stands out quite a bit compared to the previous logo. They also showed off a fun short film of what Thor was up to during Civil War, which was later released online with the Blu-ray release of Civil War. But even after all of that, the real showstopper of the night was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. James Gunn arrived, jazzing up the audience, but he was cut short as the panel was hijacked by members of the Ravagers, all in costume and in character, walking among the audience and cheering as the principal cast was introduced. The biggest cheers by far being for Kurt Russell, who was revealed to be playing Ego the Living Planet, Peter Quill's father. Oh, and look at that! Michael Rooker's here in full costume as Yondu with a brand new fin to boot. That's pretty neat. The cast members, new and returning, got people incredibly excited for Volume 2, and they closed out their visit by showing off exclusive footage of the upcoming sequel. And after that, all cast and crew members that came out for the panel were brought out at once for a big group photo. But if you're gonna do a group photo, you need everyone. So why not bring out the newest member of the MCU family, Captain Marvel, announced to be played by Brie Larson. The night was a smashing success, having people raving about the footage from each movie, including much talk about Baby Groot in Guardians 2. It It also put on display the most diverse collection of people Marvel had ever assembled, showcasing more of their willingness to capture how the real world looks in their universe. Man, this franchise has come a long way. It was only 10 short years prior that Marvel Studios held their first Comic-Con panel, where Kevin Feige first dropped the notion of potentially making an Avengers movie. And now look where we are. Oh, and it's only gonna get bigger from here. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. also managed to get in on the excitement, with a panel that teased Season 4 in some big ways, the biggest being the announcement of the involvement of Ghost Rider, by far the most recognizable Marvel character to join the show. Even in the aftermath of Comic-Con, Marvel was still releasing information. The biggest came from the two-part event that mentioned during the panel, Infinity. Although the news confirmed it wouldn't exactly be two-part, following up on the news
motherfuckers get popped up there.
After Western medicine fails him, Strange comes across a man named Jonathan Pangborn, who in the not-too-distant past was paralyzed, but now he's walking around like nothing happened. And he points Strange to a place called Kamartaj. It's here that Strange meets the Ancient One, and it's at this moment that the entire movie takes a pretty big turn.
Open your eyes.
Strange is thrown through multiple dimensions in this incredible looking sequence. We see crazy psychedelic imagery. I mean, Strange's hand grows an exponential amount of hands on it. That's just gross. But as incredible as this is, I can't shake the feeling that it'd be 10 times cooler if they didn't spoil some of these visuals at the start of the movie. I mean, wouldn't it be better if the first time we see this stuff is also the first time Strange sees this stuff? But I get it, they wanted a big way to open the movie. I think I understand. Now, if you're thinking that the structure of this origin seems pretty familiar, that's because it is. It's basically Iron Man. I mean, you have an arrogant guy, top of his field, he gets into a tragic predicament, and then to get out of it, he makes a turn and becomes a superhero. And they both have goatees. But Benedict Cumberbatch is doing a pretty good job here. He can carry the serious moments and has some comedic chops, which is required for a Marvel movie at this point. We also have the Ancient One, which the casting of Tilda Swinton in this role generated a lot of controversy, but honestly, this could have been a lot worse. Ultimately, the character's pretty solid, the performance is good, and I've always liked how she's not really squeaky clean. She has a moral gray area about her, and she has a pretty good death scene, where she enters the astral plane and slows down her final moments nearly to a complete pause. The scene looks pretty great, and she also has a nice conversation with Strange that not only has a solid emotional backbone, but kind of gives us the lesson of the movie.
Arrogance and fear still keep you from learning the simplest and most significant lesson of all.
Which is?
It's not about you.
There's also Baron Mordo, who's a steadfast character who's all about the rules. So learning of the moral ambiguity of the Ancient One kind of breaks him a little bit. But easily the best addition is Wong, who's the source of a lot of laughter, despite the fact that he doesn't laugh much himself.
Well, people used to think that I was funny. Did that work for you?
And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Cloak of Levitation, which despite being a piece of fabric, has a personality all to itself that leads to some fun moments. But all our heroes are teaming up to face down Caecilius, who's our latest entry into the pool of generic Marvel bad guys. I mean, Mads Mikkelsen does the best he can with the material, but I think the worst thing they do with him is make him a pawn for the literally and figuratively much bigger villain Dormammu. But it's hard to get into a fist fight with Dormammu, so Caecilius will have to do, I guess. But the action in this movie doesn't just boil down to fist fights. There's some creative stuff here. A highlight being the sequence in New York where everything's kind of turned upside down. I mean, buildings are turning over each other, twisting around, the world is folding in on itself. It's like a kaleidoscope of skyscrapers, and the visual effects are pretty incredible. I mean, the amount of stuff on screen that's whizzing by is insane. You almost have to run to keep up. But all leads to the third act, which is probably the most creative third act in any Marvel movie thus far. I mean, a lot of these movies end with the city getting destroyed, right? Well, what if instead we have time moving backwards so the city is repairing itself? I mean, look at this. It just goes to show how creative the ideas and visual effects are to be able to craft something this insane. Hell, even some of the music is playing backwards. But you might be thinking, how is time moving backwards? Well, partway through the movie, Doctor Strange gets his hands on the Eye of Agamotto, which can control time. It moves it backwards, it moves it forwards, and it leads into the ultimate climax of the movie. If you thought the city repairing itself was clever, oh boy, we got a treat. Because now Strange heads into the dark dimension, a place beyond time and beyond death. But he decides to bring some time with him, and goes face to face with Dormammu.
Dormammu? I come to bargain.
And he's immediately destroyed. But wait! Time reverses a bit, resetting back to this moment.
Dormammu? I come to bargain.
Dormammu catches on pretty quick, but that doesn't stop him from destroying Strange again, and again, and again.
Dormammu! Dormammu! Dormammu!
Eventually, Dormammu reaches his breaking point, a point of complete desperation.
This should be free. No, I've come to bargain.
It's such a clever use of tools. I mean, Strange isn't solving the problem with explosions and punches, but by the most powerful thing in his arsenal, and bargains to have Dormammu and his zealots leave Earth and never come back. I mean, it's just great. This leads into the resolution, where Mordo parts ways with the others, and Strange becomes the master of the New York Sanctum Sanctorum. And we also learn that the reason the Eye of Agamotto can control time is because it's an Infinity Stone. Oh, that makes 5. Space, reality, power, mind, and now time. Which means the only one left is the Soul Stone. But that's the end of the movie. It's fairly solid. I mean, it hits the familiar beats of a Marvel origin, but spices things up a bit with some fun side characters and some crazy visuals. But now it's time for the end credit scenes. First up, we got Doctor Strange talking to Thor. Turns out Thor and Loki are in New York looking for Odin, and Strange is gonna help out. Woohoo! Strange is gonna be in Thor Ragnarok. I'm excited. Then, finally, at the very end of the credits, we have Mordo paying a visit to Jonathan Pangborn from earlier, and in a big moment, ends up stealing his magic, returning him to a paralyzed state, declaring that the world has too many sorcerers. Ooh, setting up Mordo as a villain in Doctor Strange 2? That could be interesting. And look at that, Doctor Strange will return, in Thor Ragnarok apparently, and Avengers Infinity War, which I was already excited for both of those, but now I have extra reason to be. This is a solid character and I'm interested to see more. The film was also a pretty solid hit at the box office, being one of Marvel's biggest openings for a new property, sitting at $85 million in its first 3 days. Marvel once again proved that they dominated the box office every time they made a visit. Now, 2016 was drawing to a close, and people started to look forward towards Marvel's 2017 slate, which kind of got a new addition? Technically, remember that Inhumans movie? Well, it's getting turned into an ABC series, and the first 2 episodes will screen in IMAX theaters. This brought on a massive sigh of relief. Fans of the Inhumans would eventually get to see their favorite characters on screen, and people only interested in the movies were relieved that they no longer had to care about the Inhumans. I'm just joking. Kinda. As the final weeks of 2016 ticked forward, trailers for 2017's biggest hits were coming thick and fast to get a promotional boost from Rogue One. And that included 2 of Marvel's upcoming movies. First up was another trailer for Guardians 2. Set to the wicked tunes of Fox on the Run by Sweet, this trailer completely sells everything you need to know about Guardians 2. I mean, it's got humor, action, excitement, some baby Groot to top things off. It's great. It's also worth noting that the trailers for the first movie decided to highlight the actors' names, but now that everyone knows these characters, this trailer just shows the characters' names, which feels like a big step up. And also, Drax is the best.
You feel love.
Yeah, I guess, I feel a general unselfish love for just about everyone.
No, sexual love.
No, I don't.
For her.
No. See, you told everyone your deepest, darkest secret. Dude, come on. I think you're overreacting a little bit. You must be so embarrassed. Do me.
Next up was the first look at Spider-Man Homecoming, and this trailer was a little underwhelming, especially in comparison to the awesome Guardians 2 trailer. But it still managed to sell a fun, energetic, different kind of Spider-Man movie that was properly small scale in comparison to the rest of the MCU. It had some decent humor, the villain looked neat, and it ended on some imagery clearly paying homage to the train scene from Spider-Man 2. Although, one thing, when did the trend start of putting a 10-second teaser for the trailer just before the actual trailer? Why not just have the trailer? I mean, whatever, I'll see the movie anyway, it's Spider-Man. Starting in 2017, Marvel was going to start releasing 3 films a year, and oh boy did the marketing ball get rolling fast, quickly getting set off by the Super Bowl, where Marvel released a new 60-second look at Guardians 2. It didn't show a ton of new stuff, but did expand a bit on what people already knew about the story, as well as having even more humor.
Look out! Oh, wow. I tried, guys.
But marketing wasn't the only thing that felt an upgrade with Marvel's 3 films a year plan. In fact, production was feeling some of these effects as well, as 2 of Marvel's upcoming projects were to film at the same time. First to start was Black Panther, which added a ton of new supporting players like Letitia Wright, Forrest Whitaker, Sterling K. Brown, and Angela Bassett, to name a few. It proved to be one of the most all-star casts Marvel had ever assembled for one of their films. Then, a week after Black Panther got underway, perhaps the most anticipated release on Marvel's schedule ever began: Avengers Infinity War. First announced with this photo of the immense amount of trailers for the astronomically sized cast, which then transitioned into this 3-minute sneak peek at the upcoming crossover event. It didn't show that much, considering there isn't much to show off just yet, but it did have interviews with the directors, the writers, and Kevin Feige, who sold the movie pretty well. I mean, they teased how big of a deal Thanos would be. We see footage of every established Infinity Stone so far. We get some cool-looking concept art, but the showstopper here is actually something that most people were kind of assuming was going to happen already, but it's nice to get confirmation.
You know that we're onto something within the studio when we hit upon an idea or we see a piece of concept art and all of us in the room go, this is cool. And in Avengers Infinity War, the Avengers will meet the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Not only does this concept art sell it, but the video starts with Chris Pratt, Tom Holland, and Robert Downey Jr. standing together on set. I mean, two of them aren't in costume, and already it's a pretty surreal image. The ultimate climax is nigh, people. You best be ready. At least we got lots of good stuff in the year and a half before Infinity War opens, not the least of which is the continuing 4th season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Unlike the last 2 years, this season didn't have Agent Carter to fill the mid-season gap, so instead, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. split its season into 3 distinct chunks, instead of the 2 chunks of seasons 2 and 3. The second chunk is labeled Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. LMD, focusing entirely on the life model decoy aspect of the story. It doesn't hit quite as hard as the Ghost Rider stuff, but does create some interesting dynamics, and it leads to what is probably one of the best episodes of the entire show, titled Self-Control. It's an episode filled with paranoia. I mean, anyone could be replaced by an LMD, and the episode dives headfirst into the kind of trauma that has on the characters that aren't replaced. It's The Thing, but with robots. For its entire run so far, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been a good show, but with this episode it graduates from good to great, and it leads pretty effectively into the 3rd chunk of the season, which is aptly titled
Chipotle's braised beef barbacoa might be our best kept secret. Slow cooked, responsibly braised beef, seasoned with garlic and cumin, pan shredded for fall pork tenderness. Chipotle's braised beef barbacoa. If you know, you know.
I earned my degree online at Southern New Hampshire University.
It's possible to raise a family, to pursue other things, and still further your education.
And you can do it too, from all over the country.
I live in Massachusetts.
I live in Texas.
I live in California.
I live in Pennsylvania.
I'm from Florida. I'm from Virginia.
In North Carolina. In St. Louis. From Tennessee.
And I'm from Georgia.
I live somewhere even across the country. Earn your degree at SNHU.
Visit snhu.edu.
Your car's headlight bulbs can lose up to 50% visibility before burnout. Switch to Sylvania today. See better tonight.
Earlier in that year in February, phone rings. It's my landlord saying, we're selling the house. You need to move. Pack up 15 years worth of stuff. We weren't putting money away for a deposit or anything like that because we were home. At least we thought we were. Well, I got a phone call from Home Depot, the sales rep. He saved us.
I wake up now in the morning and I know that this is our house.
It's not just a home anymore. It's a forever home. We'll never have to leave.
Why is it called Agents of Hydra, you ask? Well, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has taken a page out of the Star Trek book and is doing a mirror universe arc. Set inside a Matrix-like simulation called the Framework, this arc asks the question, what if Hydra won? What if S.H.I.E.L.D. was just a band of rebels hiding underground? And boy, are the answers entertaining as hell. This is a fantastic arc. In fact, it's not just the world that's changed, but also most of the main players. Each of them has had one regret or one choice in their past changed. So now they think that this simulation is real. For example, in the Framework, Coulson never joined S.H.I.E.L.D. In fact, he's a history teacher spreading Hydra lies. And it only gets more intense from there, going all the way to Fitz, the well-meaning scientist who's always on the side of right. While in the Framework, he is second in command at Hydra, which adds so much depth to his character and cements him as one of the best written characters on the show, while also providing the show with a terrifying villain. It also allows for characters that died in the real world to return, if only briefly inside the Framework, which adds its own barrel of fun. The writers and showrunners take advantage of every creative opportunity the concept provides, and it cements the 4th season as the show's best seasons yet.
My name is Phil Coulson.
and I'm an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
It also helped cement 2017 as one of Marvel's strongest years, if not their strongest year so far, as between episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel Studios began unleashing an onslaught of trailers for their upcoming 2017 blockbusters. First up, in front of the movie Logan, a brand new trailer was released for Guardians 2. This trailer, like the Super Bowl spot, is set to the tune of The Chain by Fleetwood Mac, and oh boy is it a fun trailer. I mean, the action, the humor, it's all there. Although if you didn't know anything about the cast outside of the returning players, this might be a dangerous trailer to watch because, well...
After all these years, I've found you.
I'm the dad,
Who the hell are you? I'm your dad, Peter.
I'm the dad, Peter.
But you know what? I don't care. This trailer's a lot of fun. And if you think the trailers are cool, have a sneak peek at these posters. I mean, these are some of the most vibrant and well-designed posters Marvel's ever put out. I mean, I can look at these all day. And it was only a couple weeks later that Spider-Man Homecoming reboarded the hype train with its own new trailer. And once again, Spider-Man is underwhelming in this department. I mean, it starts off kind of fun, but you soon realize that this is basically a 3-minute version of the movie. It spoils nearly every plot beat. I mean, Tony starts off warning Peter not to do reckless things, then Peter gets into trouble on the ferry, which we saw in the first trailer, but now it's spoiled that Iron Man saves the day and then reprimands Peter by taking away the high-tech suit. So now Peter has to use his low-tech suit to defeat the Vulture. I mean, it even spoils a potentially surprising Captain America cameo. I mean, guys, what are you doing, man? Why are you ruining your own movie? Despite that, the trailer still did exceptionally well online, even garnering more positive attention than the newest Justice League trailer. But Marvel wasn't done yet. In fact, finally, after months of speculation, word started to be drummed up around Thor Ragnarok. Beginning with an Entertainment Weekly article that not only gave fans their first look at new and returning characters, but also showed Chris Hemsworth's Thor with short hair. This brought excitement to its peak, and Marvel followed it up with the first teaser trailer only days later. Set to the tune of Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin, this trailer is a complete departure from the first two Thor movies in a really good way. I mean, in the first 30 seconds, Cate Blanchett's Hela destroys Thor's hammer. Wait, what? Thor's hammer is destroyed? Damn, dude, I was really hoping for a payoff to that calf-lifting Mjolnir thing from Age of Ultron. Ah, well, this movie looks rad anyway. Eye-popping visuals, a fun, fast-paced tone, everything about it sold the movie really well. But the real showstopper came at the end, as the trailer shows off Thor with his new haircut, standing in an arena, waiting to face off against... Thor and Hulk are gonna fight in Ragnarok. You know what? I am in. I mean, the Thor movies have always been the least consequential in the MCU, but if this trailer is any indication, this is a far cry from the mediocrity of Thor the Dark World. But before that can happen, it's time to kick off the summer movie season with the MCU's 15th movie, Guardians 2. It's kind of amazing that only 3 years prior, Guardians of the Galaxy was a massive risk for Marvel, and now its sequel is one of the most anticipated movies of 2017. It might have even been number one had it not been for Star Wars at the end of the year. TV spots, clips, posters, and all sorts of interviews were released in lead up to its May 5th release, where Guardians 2 would be ready to rock and roll its way into theaters and audiences' hearts. Probably. The opening credits of this movie are amazing. I mean, we get all this build up to a massive standoff between the Guardians and this interdimensional monster. It's in all the trailers, we're waiting for it to start, but when it finally does, it's off in the background as we instead focus on Baby Groot dancing to Mr. Blue Sky. And I wouldn't have it any other way. This movie has its priorities in order, I'll tell you that much. But we do eventually see the battle as we learn that the Guardians have been hired to stop the monster by these gold people known as the Sovereign. This near-perfect species that has just enough imperfections to bring out some comedy. But when the Guardians get on their bad side, they end up in a massive space battle that results in the Guardians crash landing on a remote planet. And it's here that they run into Ego,
who claims to be Peter Quill's father. Now this is where we get the very Empire Strikes Back sequel trope, where our team of Guardians is split up. Half of the team stays behind while the other half goes off to Ego's planet where not much happens plot-wise, but character-wise, ooh. When you look at the first movie, it's pretty clear that that's the Peter Quill show. You know, he's at the center, but this time, every character gets a pretty substantial arc. Obviously, Peter Quill is still a big focus, with his relationship with Ego taking center stage, but we also dive deeper into Gamora's character, and her relationship with her sister Nebula. While their adoptive father Thanos doesn't make an appearance, his presence is still felt through these two characters. And they also bond a bit here, which is nice. It turns Nebula from the villain she was in the first one to more of a reluctant ally, which I like. Then there's Drax, who, to be fair, has the least going on in terms of a substantial arc, but they compensate him nicely by giving him all of the best lines. I mean, this dude is the comedy MVP of this movie. He's having so much fun, it's a joy to watch. But he's not just comedic relief, because he also has this really gorgeous scene where he's talking to a new character, Mantis, who has the ability, when she touches someone, to feel their emotions. So when Drax is reminiscing about his dead daughter, she feels his emotions and is completely overwhelmed. Meanwhile, Drax is completely stone-faced. It's a clever and creative way of showing his emotions that also tugs at your heartstrings a little bit. Now, this movie, much like the first one, is set to the backdrop of a mixtape. This time, it's Awesome Mix Volume 2. Now, I might be in the minority here, but I think I like these songs more than the songs in the first one. Don't get me wrong, the songs in the first one are great, but I find myself coming back to these more often. I mean, Mr. Blue Sky by ELO, Brandy by Looking Glass, The Chain by Fleetwood Mac, lots of great stuff in here. It also complements the visuals too, which, this is probably Marvel's most vibrant and colorful movie yet. It's a far cry from the gray tarbacks of Civil War. There are also a lot of great shots in here. Some of my favorites are this, and this. Those last two are ones that people point out a lot, and it's probably because they utilize negative space in a pretty cool way. Now, while half the team is on Ego's planet, the other half is off getting entangled with the Ravagers. This leads to an expanded role for both Rocket and Yondu, who have a really nice dynamic this time and manage to bring out the best in each other. It's pretty cool. It also leads to an incredible sequence where Yondu gets a new fin and then uses his arrow to just wreck everything. Once again showing off some great visual creativity during this sequence. I mean, look at some of this stuff. This stuff looks great. But the scene ends with Rocket, Baby Groot, Yondu, and Kraglin barely escaping the exploding ship as they blast through 700 jump points to get to Ego's planet. Which gives us some pretty crazy visuals, but it also gives us perhaps Stan Lee's best cameo. Maybe ever.
Anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted, at that time, I was a Federal Express man.
At face value, you might be thinking, really? This is the best one? Oh, let me explain. You see, these big bald things are called Watchers. People who watch over the universe but don't interfere. I learned that from an Easter egg video. And Stan Lee is their informant. He's even credited as such at the end. So while it might not seem like much at face value, it confirms that every time Stan Lee appears in the MCU, he's playing the same character, checking in on random events to report back to the Watchers. That's just great. I mean, that's the kind of meta stuff that gets nerd brains like me just going for it. But all leads to the third act, where Ego reveals his true plan. Turns out he's been planting these plant things on every world he's come across, and now he wants to activate them, turning every world in the cosmos into him. But he can't do it alone. You need two Celestials, which is why Peter Quill is here, who carries his Celestial gene. And Peter is almost willing to go along with it until Ego lets slip the bombshell that he killed Peter's mom.
What?
No, I know that sounds bad.
So now, Ego's our main bad guys, our expanded roster of Guardians reunite, including Yondu, Nebula, and Mantis, and they gotta team up to stop a big planet with a face. That's right. The planet's got a face. Oh, and also the Sovereign people show up, leading to a fun spaceship battle. all of which adds up to a third act filled with tons of fun moments, lines, character beats, and then you have Baby Groot's just sitting there having no idea what's going on, which brings comedy itself. But it all leads to Peter Quill getting a handle on his celestial powers and finally wiping the floor with Ego. And this scene brings back The Chain by Fleetwood Mac in a really effective way, as well as having a moment where Ego creates a big rock version of himself, and Peter creates a big rock version of Pac-Man. Peter's a child of the 80s until the very end. You gotta respect that. But as the scene winds down, all of the Guardians, aside from Peter Quill,
I didn't even
manage
look
to
at the book.
escape as they successfully destroy Ego's core, leaving him to crumble in Peter's arms. And Peter's almost gonna get swallowed up by the chain of explosions until Yondu shows up and saves the day. They escape as the planet collapses behind him, and Yondu gives Peter Quill a spacesuit, but he doesn't have one himself. So now, Peter, along with the audience, has to watch as Yondu, having gone through a meaningful redemption, slowly dies.
They don't even got this nigga as The Rock. This nigga name is the final boss. That's
a
crazy.
really emotional death scene. I mean, after the first one, you might think that Yondu's just a pretty cool side character. But because of his role in this, he's not just one of the best characters in this movie, he's one of the best characters in the franchise. It also helps that he gets one of the best moments, if not the best moment in the entire movie.
What? You look like Mary Poppins.
Is he cool?
Hell yeah, he's cool.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
It also cements the theme of the movie, which is about fathers and sons. I mean, you got Peter and Ego, Peter and Yondu. Every member of the team is a parental figure to Baby Groot. And the last song of the movie is aptly titled Father and Son. And we get a pretty emotional funeral for Yondu as a bunch of Ravager ships show up, led by Sylvester Stallone's character Stakar, who showed up earlier to say that this exact thing wouldn't happen. And yet, here we are. And man, this might be the most emotional MCU movie to date. I mean, not every movie can end on a shot of a raccoon with a tear in his eye and have it work. But this movie does. This movie's really good. But that's it. It's time for after credit scenes. So how many do we got? 1? 2? No. We got 5. Alright, first up is a scene where Kraglin is practicing with Yondu's arrow. And because he's a beginner, he stabs Drax with it. Just a bit of fun. Next up, we have a scene with Stakar and a bunch of other characters who all turn out to be the original comic book Guardians of the Galaxy team. Before it was Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, and so on. So that's cool. The third scene is probably the most substantial. We get the Sovereign High Priestess Ayesha recovering from the embarrassing defeat earlier, and she's staring at a new birthing pod or cocoon, which appears to be holding Adam Warlock. Ooh, we're setting up Adam Warlock for Volume 3. If you don't know who Adam Warlock is, that's fine. I don't know either. We'll find out when Volume 3 comes out, I guess. Then we get a scene that appears to take place a few years after the main movie, probably closer to when Infinity War is going to be set, as Baby Groot has grown up to be a teenager, and he's every bit as reprehensible as a regular teenager is.
Now I know how Yondu felt.
I ain't see Oron in a minute.
Credits between all these scenes is a lot of fun too. I mean, most of the
I
time
know
it's
Bronson
white
Reed's
text on a
still
black
hurt.
background. Your eyes can glaze over it pretty easily. But this time there's a lot to look out for. Tons of Easter eggs, including the Grandmaster from Thor Ragnarok making a cameo. But also every once in a while, someone's name will be replaced with the phrase, I am Groot, before promptly returning to normal. It's a fun thing to look out for. But now we have our fifth and final scene. It's a continuation of the Stan Lee cameo from earlier, where it appears that the Watchers are kinda leaving Stan Lee out to dry.
I've got so many more stories to tell. Guys. Oh, gee.
Man, how's Stan Lee gonna get out of this one? We may never know. What we do know, however, is that this movie killed at the box office, striking a massive $145 million opening weekend, far surpassing the original. Critical reception was also incredibly positive. There were some detractors among critics, however. Some claimed the movie was a bit bloated, not quite as fun as the first, while still being a pretty enjoyable ride. And others criticized some of the jokes, stating that they undercut dramatic scenes probably a bit too often. But for the most part, critical and fan reception was exceptional. People were having a
Damn,
great time with Guardians.
they got Andy in
So
this
it was
bitch.
unsurprising that even before
baby.
Volume 2 came out, Volume 3 was confirmed, with James Gunn set to write and direct once again, aiming
Andy
for a
not
November
done no more.
2020 release date. Now, with a galactic space adventure like Guardians 2, it makes total
One of
sense
these,
that the very
one of
much
these
so
two are gone.
Earthbound
I think
Agents
both
of
of them are
S.H.I.E.L.D.
gone.
doesn't connect
They got
to it.
Odyssey
Season
Jones
4
in
marked
here.
the first
They
season
got
that
Baron
didn't reference
Corbin
the
in
current
here.
movies one bit. Instead, it told its own story.
Blair
That might be why
Davenport.
this season was so good. It wasn't constrained at all by the movies.
The OC,
And also, Guardians 2
Carl
took place
Anderson,
in
Gallo.
2014, just after the first
So they got them
one,
bitches at the end of the
part
book, so
one
they had them on the
wasn't
way
good
out.
anyway. Instead, Agents
They
of
had them on
S.H.I.E.L.D.
the way
tied up
out.
Season 4's loose ends in its final episodes and left the door open
Raised.
for
I haven't seen
game-changing
Tika. I think Tika not gone.
season
I don't know.
5, which thankfully the show was renewed for a fifth
Giovanni
season,
Vinci
but the
gone.
debut would be a bit late considering the fall
Damn.
season already had ABC's Inhumans show, so Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would return once that wrapped up. On the movie side of things, press surrounding
Cedric
Guardians 2
Alexander
brought
just
a lot
left.
of news and updates regarding Marvel's future
I think
projects.
Adonis-
Anna Bodden
I know
and Brad
Adonis went
Wood
to
were
NXT,
confirmed
I
to be
think.
the directors for the Captain Marvel movie. Meanwhile, filming had wrapped on Black Panther, and Kevin Feige himself clarified that the reason Avengers 4 didn't have a title yet was because it was supposedly a spoiler for the events of Infinity War. So I guess we have to wait for the ultimate crossover event to know anything about the other ultimate crossover event that comes out a year later. All of this news was soon followed up by a third trailer for Spider-Man Homecoming.
Corey Graves
This trailer is
yeah, or
much
he on
better than the one
NXT
that
or some
spoils
shit.
nearly the whole movie. But because its fandoms have already seen stuff, which, alongside all the footage released so far, makes it pretty easy to paint an accurate picture of what the movie's gonna look like. But while some were underwhelmed by the trailers, at least the posters were pretty good. I mean, these are really different and bright and vibrant and, never mind. With the release of the third trailer came this poster, and what is this? I mean, why is Tony Stark bigger than Peter Parker? Why does he appear twice? Why does Spider-Man appear twice? Why does Vulture appear twice? Is Tony Stark exploding? Why is New York sitting right next to the Washington Monument? What's going on? This poster was lambasted by fans. There were tons of Photoshop edits going around. My personal favorite is this one, which decided that there wasn't enough Iron Man on the poster. They even went as far as to change the title to Iron Man Homecoming with Spider-Man. Although maybe the Spider-Man marketing mishaps might be at the hands of Sony and not Marvel Studios, which could be true, but Marvel wasn't immune to marketing mishaps either, as just a few weeks later, this poster came out for Black Panther. The concept is cool and it's not nearly as busy, but it's mainly a CGI image with Chadwick Boseman's face floating on top. But criticisms of the poster were quickly drowned out as the first teaser trailer for Black Panther dropped only hours later. And this teaser got people excited. It teased the exciting new location of Wakanda as well as showcasing the all-star cast. And it gives some cool action of Black Panther himself. But an interesting thing to note is that this trailer was released pretty far out from release of the movie. Usually Marvel releases the first trailer about 6 months before the movie comes out, which would usually translate to this trailer coming out in August 2017, but it came out in June. It's probably no coincidence that it was released just as Wonder Woman was making bank at the box office. It was clear that not only did people want diverse stories, but they were also willing to go out and see diverse stories in droves. So Marvel got the word out early about this one, probably hoping for another runaway success. Meanwhile, news continued to flow from Marvel's future projects, including casting news for 2018's Ant-Man and the Wasp, which confirmed that nearly every player from the original would be returning, as well as adding newcomer Hannah John Kamen in an undisclosed role. On top of that, it was almost every week that a new name was attached to Avengers Infinity War, adding not just the title heroes, but also some side characters from various MCU movies, including movies that hadn't even come out yet. But as the days ticked by, it also became more evident that the next two Avengers movies would be the end of an era in a way, with talk surfacing of Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. possibly leaving the franchise after Avengers 4. Those two movies are ready to shake up the MCU in a really big way, bringing an end to the universe as we know it, and breathing in new life for Phase 4. But let's not worry about that yet. I mean, we got a bunch of movies before that, and some more Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. performances in this universe to look forward to. In fact, both are set to appear, even in minor roles, in Spider-Man Homecoming. After weeks of marketing, TV spots, clips, and an interview where Tom Holland leaked that they were planning a Spider-Man trilogy, July 7th, 2017 arrived, and audiences were eager to see if Marvel could extend their magic touch to Sony's prized webhead. This movie opens in the immediate
Oh, it's Bianca.
aftermath of
I got
Battle of
the
New York
blush.
from the
Yeah.
Avengers.
Stupid ass.
It's here that we meet our main villain, Adrian Toomes, who's trying to salvage some of the wreckage and turn a profit, but is then screwed over by Tony Stark and the government via their new damage control division. It makes him a fairly sympathetic villain with clear motivations. And as he and his crew decide to keep some of the alien tech that wasn't confiscated and make some new tech with it, we flash forward 8 years later. Wait, 8 years later? What? Hold on, is this movie set in 2020, or is the Avengers set in 2009? Neither, because this should really say 4 years later. Let me explain. You see, in Civil War, Secretary Ross says that the Avengers have been active for 4 years.
For the past 4 years, you've operated with unlimited power and no supervision.
And given that this movie takes place 2 months after that, it should say 4 years later.
Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that one.
Honestly, it actually isn't that big of a deal. I'm just exaggerating because I like airtight timelines. So how is this movie really? Yeah, it's actually a lot of fun. It's light on its feet, Tom Holland is still great in the role, and the dilemma of Peter Parker's life in high school and his responsibilities as Spider-Man are once again front and center here. I also really like this movie's portrayal of high school. As someone who was in high school when this movie came out, this paints a pretty accurate picture of what high school looks like in 2017. Like, those video news reports are amazing. I mean, they're so perfectly awkward. The green screen cuts out every once in a while. It's hilarious. It also gives the movie one of its best lines.
Couldn't bear to lose a student on a school trip. Not again.
I also like a lot of the characters here. I mean, we got Ned Leeds, who discovers early on that Peter is Spider-Man, which is nice. It gives someone for Peter to confide in about the Spider-Man stuff. And the running bit about him being the guy in the chair is a lot of fun. There's also Peter's crush, Liz Allen. There's the mysterious yet funny Michelle, whose full name is revealed to be Michelle Jones, aka MJ. Not the MJ we're familiar with, but it's a clever way to repurpose the name. And there's Flash Thompson, who isn't the big stereotypical jock caricature seen in the previous versions, but instead he's really just a bit of a dick, which I think fits this universe a lot better. Ironically enough, the weakest stuff in this movie is probably the action. Not to say that it's bad, but it falls short of some of the other MCU movies, or even some of the action in previous Spider-Man movies. Although there is a nice moment where Spider-Man's rushing through people's yards, and it kind of feels like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and then right on cue they cut to a TV showing that exact scene from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. They know what they're doing. Although there is an aspect of Peter Parker's character that I think is missing here. And no, it's not Uncle Ben's death. We've seen that. We don't need to retread that ground. I'm talking about the fact that Peter Parker is broke. It's actually illustrated pretty well in Civil War.
Is this Grant, like, got money involved or whatever? No?
But I've always found Peter Parker's lack of riches to be one of his most interesting aspects. It's one of the things that the Raimi movies did really well. And I think it'd provide this movie with a more relatable aspect to Peter instead of he needs to hack into this multi-million-dollar suit to hide from his billionaire mentor. Seems a bit like rich white kid problems to me. Speaking of Tony Stark, he's in this movie, and pretty much every scene with him was spoiled in the trailers. I think Sony was trying to overcompensate for people's desire to see Spider-Man with other Marvel characters, so they really sold this movie on the involvement of Tony Stark. But surprisingly enough, the trailers didn't actually spoil everything this movie had to offer. You see, after Tony takes Peter's suit away, which we saw in the trailers, Peter's in kind of a slump, which leads to the homecoming dance where Peter asks Liz Allen to be his date. She accepts, and when Peter gets to her house the night of the dance, who's to greet him at the door except...
You must be Peter.
Yeah.
I'm Liz's dad.
Vulture is Liz Allen's dad? Holy crap, this whole scene got really tense really fast, and boy is Michael Keaton terrifying in this. And it cements him further as one of the MCU's best villains. This all leads to the third act, where Peter has to use his pajama suit to stop the Vulture from hijacking a Stark Industries plane. It's a pretty big and climactic final standoff that, while it still suffers from some of the issues that the rest of the action suffers from, it still serves as a solid climax. And the scene resolves with Peter saving Vulture's life, and securing all of the payload that he can before returning to school, which leads to our resolution. It's here that Peter's brought to the Avengers compound and is commended by Tony Stark for his performance, and as a gift is shown the Iron Spider suit, with the promise of being introduced to the world as the newest Avenger. Peter, however, declines. And a pretty mature and responsible move, and it cements the theme of being the little guy and fighting the small fight. Despite the fact that the third act kind of majorly contradicted that idea. Whoops. But hey, Pepper's back, and she's back with Tony Stark after Civil War. That's nice. And they're gonna get engaged. That's fun. So now, Peter returns home to find his Civil War suit returned. He suits up, and all is right with the world. Except for one small thing. Aunt May finds out that Peter is Spider-Man. That's fantastic, honestly. It really shakes things up and could provide some really interesting stuff for the sequel. But it's end credits time. First up, we got a scene with Adrian Toomes in prison, talking to this Scorpion? That could be neat, setting up a possible sequel. I can see potential. Now, unlike Guardians, we only got one more scene at the very end, and I mean, when you sit through enough of these credits, you start to really feel their length. I mean, you sit for 10 minutes waiting for something that'll either mean nothing or be confusing. Is it even worth it?
Hi, I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have. Patience. Sometimes patience is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing.
Never mind, this is totally worth it. I take it all back. Spider-Man Homecoming received rave reviews from critics, citing its fun, good-natured tone and its excellent performances. It struck a chord with audiences as well, striking a massive $117 million opening weekend. Spider-Man was back in a big way, and Marvel proved that its influence could even work on the good old webhead. But there was little time to celebrate the success of Spider-Man because it's Comic-Con season, baby! With that comes a weekly centering entirely on Black Panther, highlighting the characters, the approach, the world, all the good stuff. Meanwhile, Samuel L. Jackson was confirmed to reprise his role as Nick Fury in the upcoming Captain Marvel film, and Randall Park was confirmed to join Ant-Man and the Wasp as Agent Jimmy Woo. But Comic-Con wasn't Marvel's only major event in July, because first they paid a visit to Disney's annual D23 Expo, where not only did some art of the Wasp costume get revealed, but also a massive life-size sculpture of Thanos was on the floor, alongside his minions, the Black Order, which also led to some big news regarding Avengers Infinity War. After Star Wars The Last Jedi had a massive showing, Marvel came out showing off its immense cast for Infinity War. I mean, look at all these people. And that's not even everybody. But they also showed a 3-minute trailer that had audiences at D23 absolutely floored. And I couldn't be more jealous of the people that show up for these things. I mean, all I got were some vague descriptions. I mean, Captain America with a beard? Black Widow with blonde hair? Thanos throws a planet at the Avengers? Like, dude, I need more than descriptions. Although there was this to chew on for audiences at home.
Marvel, it doesn't end that well. Somebody always bites or gets really badly hurt.
Wait till you see this next one. Everybody dies.
Dude.
Not everybody. No.
Mark Ruffalo, I'm just gonna pretend I didn't hear what you just said and roll right into Comic-Con in blissful ignorance. Once again, Marvel had their own dedicated panel for Comic-Con, which began with Kevin Feige teasing some details on some of their future movies. He announced that Michelle Pfeiffer was to play Janet Van Dyne in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and the cast would also include Walton Goggins and Lawrence Fishburne, which is cool. He then transitioned to Captain Marvel and revealed some concept art of the costume, and it was revealed that yes, Nick Fury would have a part in the movie, and he'd have 2 eyes, because the film was to be set in the 1990s. But that wasn't even the biggest reveal, because it was also confirmed that the movie would see the introduction of the Skrulls to the MCU, a race of shapeshifters who can appear as anyone at any time. This raised a ton of questions. If they've been around since the 90s, then who's a Skrull? Who's been an alien this whole time? Could it explain in-universe why Rhodey looks different from Iron Man to Iron Man 2? Who knows? There wasn't much time to ponder that because now it was time for the main event. Marvel decided to promote the next 2 of their upcoming movies. First up came the cast and director for Thor Ragnarok. They upped the energy, they got the audience excited, they gave some laughs, and debuted a whole new trailer that also got released online. And this trailer is once again a lot of fun. It has the same energy as the first teaser, but shows off a bunch more stuff, hinting at a story that sees Thor teaming up with Bruce Banner, Valkyrie, and Loki to face off against Hela and stop Ragnarok. Does it show a bit too much? Maybe, but Hulk is fighting a giant wolf and Thor's blasting lightning out of his body, so... Oh, and, Hulk talks.
We're the same, you and I. Just a couple of hot-headed fools.
Yeah, same. Hulk like fire, Thor like water.
Oh, kind of both like fire.
Hulk like raging fire, Thor like smoldering fire.
After that, the director and cast for Black Panther came on stage. They also got the audience excited, teasing new information about each of their characters, as well as the world of Wakanda that the movie was going to explore. They then debuted some new footage for that, too.